Chapter 1421 Myriad Dragon. Feng Zhuzhe was backed by Heavenly Court. He did not lack information, he knew a lot about Shadow Sect's immortals. Other than Fang Yuan, there was also Bai Ningbing, He Lu Lan, Ying Wuxie, Black Tigress, and Fairy Miao Yin, a total of 5 other targets. Bai Ningbing was a beautiful dragon lady, she had the fiercest offense and was likely to be the inheritor of Bai Zhang's true inheritance. He Lu Lan had sharp eyebrows and eyes, even though she was a woman, she had a bold air and attacked with powerful flames, she had the great strength true martial physique. Ying Wuxie was now using Fairy Kui Bo's body, he wore a green dress and had alluring eyes, his methods were still concealed for the moment, Feng Zhuzhe did not recognize him and felt a little suspicious. Black Tigress had a ruthless gaze, her injuries had mostly healed now, she moved rapidly and cultivated dark path. She was like an assassin, moving in the periphery and staring at Feng Zhuzhe as she waited for a chance to take revenge. As for Fairy Miao Yin, she had already displayed her signature killer move, Wondrous Hand Profound Sound, she was beautiful and elegant, her eyes had curved moons in them, she also cultivated sound path like Feng Zhuzhe. Feng Zhuzhe used Yang Pass Tune as he evaded Fang Yuan. On the other hand, he was assessing these Shadow Sect immortals. Fang Yuan's reverse flow protection seal could not be countered, but it had advantages and disadvantages. If Fang Yuan wanted to maintain it, he could not use other immortal killer moves. Fang Yuan had weak offense and strong defense. If Feng Zhuzhe wanted to fight Shadow Sect, he had to target the rest. This was the best strategy. But who would Feng Zhuzhe target? This question was on Fang Yuan and everyone else's mind. Feng Zhuzhe was not going to be stupid and fight with Fang Yuan, but similarly, they had also guessed what tactic he would employ. It was common sense. Reverse flow protection seal was too powerful, there was no way for Heavenly Court to come up with ways of dismantling it in a short time. It was very hard to dismantle killer moves. But resisting and alleviating them was much easier. Despite this, Reverse Flow River was on par with rank 9 Immortal GU, it was a secluded domain of heaven and earth written inside less than the legends of Ren Zhu greater than, how could it be easily countered or weakened? Thus, only after Heavenly Court deduced a method to unravel it would they be able to deal with Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Before that, even if Duke Long showed up, he could do nothing. Among everyone, He Lu Lan has the lowest cultivation level at rank 6, will Feng Zhuzhe target her? Fang Yuan is out of the question, but he might target Fairy Miao Yin too. After all, they both cultivate sound path, with Feng Zhuzhe's deep foundation, he should have very effective methods against Fairy Miao Yin. He attacked Lady White Rabbit earlier, he might also attack Black Tigress while she's still injured. What about Bai Ningbing? She has the strongest offense among us, she is the strongest spear, if she is taken down, Feng Zhuzhe's advantage in this battle will increase drastically. Ying Wuxie is also a possible target, he is using Fairy Kui Bo's body, Feng Zhuzhe is most unfamiliar with him, he might attack to probe him. All sorts of analysis and guesses were in the heads of Fang Yuan and the others. If they managed to guess Feng Zhuzhe's goal, they would be able to gain the initiative in battle and move more freely. Who would Feng Zhuzhe choose? At the next moment, they got their answer. Feng Zhuzhe jumped as Yang Pass Tune activated, he went to the center of the battlefield. Next, the immortal killer move Yang Pass Tune did not fade, but its aura changed abruptly. Feng Zhuzhe called out, "Why don't you listen to my Green Jade song?" This was his signature method, the immortals heard that and retreated. Only Fang Yuan laughed as he moved forward towards Feng Zhuzhe. "Feng Zhuzhe, you are finally using some proper methods." Ding ding ding, music that sounded like pearls landing on a jade plate was crisp and sharp. Fang Yuan ignored it, he got closer to Feng Zhuzhe and used Reverse Flow Protection Seal to reflect a portion of Green Jade Song's power back to Feng Zhuzhe. But unexpectedly, Feng Zhuzhe's Green Jade Song killer move completely collected and preserved its power. Fang Yuan moved without obstruction, there was no reflected damage inflicted. The immortals were surprised, a vague figure emerged from Feng Zhuzhe's body. This person looked like Feng Zhuzhe, but it was green in color, as if it was made of green jade. What killer move is this? The Shadow Sect immortals felt a strong sense of threat from this mysterious figure. Song Warrior. Fang Yuan's heart sank, he remembered the information in his previous life. This was a powerful method of Feng Zhuzhe, it allowed the 9 songs that he creates to gather into human form and attack enemies. In the 500 years of Fang Yuan's previous life, Feng Zhuzhe's original 9 songs were incredibly powerful, but they had one weakness, only one could be activated at a time, they were not flexible and lasted for only a short time. After countless battles, Feng Zhuzhe realized this weakness and went into a short period of seclusion. When he came out, he created the killer move Song Warrior. Thereafter, he could split the 9 songs into temporary clones to fight strong enemies. They were flexible and agile, his battle strength surged and sent many of his enemies into deep danger. To think that this famous Song Warrior is actually a variation move of Yang Pastun. It is similar to my myriad self and strength path giant hand. In my previous life, he only created Song Warrior after 500 years, why was it so early this time? No, in the 500 years of my previous life, because Shadow Sect succeeded, the Great Era was stalled by a long time, maybe Feng Zhuzhe was affected by that. Or maybe, he created Song Warrior in advance because of Heavenly Court's help. Countless thoughts churned in Fang Yuan's mind, he had many guesses at once. The Green Jade Song Warrior did not attack Fang Yuan, it pounced at Ying Wuxie. Ying Wuxie's eyelids were twitching, he quickly retreated, not willing to fight head-on. Feng Zhuzhe used Yang Pastun again, moving far away from Fang Yuan. After several times, he had already used another signature killer move. Heaven and Earth Song. The Heaven and Earth Song Warrior attacked Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing shouted, "Come!" She faced with the Heaven and Earth Song Warrior, clashing as frost splattered. Damn it, this cannot go on. Bai Ningbing and Ying Wuxie are kept busy now, we cannot suppress Feng Zhuzhe. So Feng Zhuzhe's target was not one of us, but everyone except Fang Yuan. After understanding Feng Zhuzhe's tactic, the Shadow Sect Immortals felt immense danger. The battle was tilting in Feng Zhuzhe's favor, but there was nothing they could do. The reason was because Fang Yuan's side was strong on defense while weak on offense, and also because Feng Zhuzhe used the optimal tactic. In fact, Song Warrior had strengths and weaknesses. If the 9 songs were used on their own, they were formless and had a huge range, the power was vast and hard to defend against. After turning into Song Warriors, they would be condensed entities that could be attacked and avoided, long-ranged attacks could even weaken the power of the Song Warriors. But in this battle, Feng Zhuzhe's concerns were completely different from before. Firstly, he did not need to deal with Immortal Gu House clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building. This Immortal Gu House was extremely fast, if he used Song Warrior, it would just dodge the attacks. Secondly, Feng Zhuzhe did not need to attack the tributary of the River of Time. This time, while chasing Fang Yuan, he made sure there was not enough time for him to set up an Immortal Gu formation. By using Song Warrior, even if he could not defeat them all, he could keep the Shadow Sect Immortals busy and be unable to attack together. Using certain tactics in certain situations, this was the decision of a Gu Immortal with the experience of countless battles. Feng Zhuzhe was a person who had extremely rich experience from actual battles. Together with his immense talent, this battle was very difficult for the Shadow Sect Immortals. After Green Jade Song and Heaven and Earth Song, he used Submission Song and Separation Song. 4 Song Warriors attacked, either alone or together, sending the battlefield into chaos. Bastard! Hei Lulan gritted her teeth, she retreated as she attacked with Angry Bird from afar, but when the move landed on the Green Jade Song Warrior, the fiery birds turned into jade birds, they shattered when they fell to the ground. Penetrating Ice Blade. Bai Ningbing muttered, holding a huge ice blade as she attacked the Submission Song Warrior, but at the crucial moment, the Separation Song Warrior appeared to take this blow. The huge ice blade broke apart, Separation Song could separate everything, including immortal killer moves. The Heaven and Earth Song Warrior had the power of suppression, Ying Wuxie and Fairy Miao Yin fought against it evenly. Fang Yuan had a heavy heart. When Feng Zhuzhe started cultivating, he aspired to create 9 songs, to express himself, to express life, and to express heaven and earth. Right now, he has already created Separation Song. According to my previous life's information, he already possesses 7 songs. Among them, 4 of the songs were for offensive purposes: Green Jade Song, Heaven and Earth Song, Submission Song, and Separation Song. Fang Yuan had witnessed them already. There were 2 more songs, Obtain Treasure and Towards Heaven. These were used to assist in cultivation, they were not of concern to him. The most worrisome one was the final song. That song is not easy to control, if he fails, the backlash is almost fatal. But if Feng Zhuzhe gets a chance to use it, our losses will be severe. Fang Yuan was worried, but there was no way around it, his offense was too low, he could not exert pressure on Feng Zhuzhe. Feng Zhuzhe had high battle strength, he was skilled in manipulating the 4 clones, this showed that his enslavement path attainment was deeper than even Fang Yuan. He had already been a GU immortal for many years, even with Fang Yuan's 500 years, he could not match Feng Zhuji's foundation. And this is the result of fighting in anti-sound desert. Feng Zhuzhe is already suppressed. Of course, our fairy Miao Yin is also suppressed. I need to take a risk, otherwise, if we miss this chance, we will not even have a chance to take a risk in the future. Resolution shone in Fang Yuan's eyes. At the next moment, he deactivated Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Immortal Killer Move, Ancient Sword Dragon Transformation. Fang Yuan turned into an Ancient Sword Dragon. Next, he calmed his mind and breathed in deeply, using another signature killer move. Convergence of Enslavement and Strength Path, Myriad Self. This was not simply using Myriad Self on top of activating Ancient Sword Dragon Transformation. This was a famous technique involving immortal killer moves, a combination move. Ancient Sword Dragon Transformation combined with Myriad Self, creating Myriad Dragon. Roar, 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 roar. At once, myriad dragons appeared. They roared as sword chi burst out rampantly. It was like a sea of silver scales. This killer move, it is the one he used when he destroyed our sex immortal GU formation in Eastern Sea. It has appeared again. Ying Wuxie was shook. Fang Yuan. Bai Ningbing muttered. A feeling of reliance emerged in her heart. Impressive. Even Feng Zhuzhe was greatly moved. At once, his field of vision was covered by flying sword dragons. The sea of sword dragons submerged the four Song warriors, including Feng Zhuzhe himself. Chapter 1422, Battle Result. Fang Yuan's current Dao mark quantity was at the peak of rank 7. Myriad Dragon Killer move was amplified by his transformation path, sword path, and other Dao marks. Its power reached the very limit of a rank 7 killer move. The dragons attacked the four Song warriors fiercely. The green Jade Song warrior was surrounded by countless crumbling Jade dragons, but it was unable to hold on for long as it got drowned in sword dragons. The Heaven and Earth Song warrior attacked grandly with overwhelming pressure, but the dragons were too numerous. It was eventually eaten by one of them. The Submission Song warrior lasted the longest. It managed to make some of the ancient sword dragon clones submit to it, but it could not turn this situation around. And finally, the Separation Song warrior separated some ancient sword dragon clones. It charged out but was still surrounded by more sword dragons. It could not resist the tide of endless waves of dragons. All along, Fang Yuan's myriad self had been high in quantity and low in quality. Especially against GU immortal experts, it was useless. As Fang Yuan's enemies got stronger, myriad self had turned into a method for him to escape while using familiar face. But now, after creating this combination move, using myriad self on top of ancient sword dragon transformation, the effect had been elevated to achieve a qualitative change. Ancient sword dragon transformation used rank 7 dragon breath immortal GU and dragon scale immortal GU, as well as rank 6 dragon strength immortal GU. He had the constitution of an ancient desolate beast. The clones of the ancient sword dragon were not comparable with the myriad self-killer move clones at all. This was the strongest attacking method that Fang Yuan currently possessed. The myriad dragons engulfed the four Song warriors, before encircling Feng Zhuzhe tightly. Fang Yuan did not hesitate. He directly mobilized the dragon group, attacking Feng Zhuzhe from all directions. Feng Zhuzhe's admiration faded from his gaze as he clenched his right fist and punched forward. Bang! A loud drum sound shook heaven and earth. It was like rumbling thunder. 5 or 6 ancient sword dragon clones were destroyed. At almost the same time, Feng Zhuzhe's left hand palm slapped towards the side. Ding! The chimes of the bell caused several ancient sword dragons to stop their movement, before their bodies shook and they disintegrated into nothingness after a breath's time. Drum fist. Bell palm. Feng Zhuzhe continued to attack. There were unceasing sounds as he attacked to defend himself, forcing the ancient sword dragons to stay away from him. Myriad Dragon could send most rank 7 GU immortals in this world into mortal danger. But against Feng Zhuzhe, it was not enough. Feng Zhuzhe's accumulation of sound path Dao marks was simply too deep. Even inside the anti-sound desert, his power could not be fully suppressed. But Fang Yuan felt some surprise upon seeing this. It is a bit strange. Why is Feng Zhuzhe not using Yang Pass Tune? In this situation, the Song warriors are already destroyed. Feng Zhuzhe can totally move away and avoid my attacks. He would be able to expend less immortal essence at a steady rate. Unless he is preparing a certain immortal killer move. But he is using Drum Fist and Bell Palm already. There is a low possibility of him using other killer moves. And he is not going to use a killer move under such a dangerous situation, right? This means, there is likely to be one reason. The information in the 500 years of my previous life was not without reason, it seems. All sorts of thoughts collided and sparked in Fang Yuan's mind. At the next moment, he turned back to human and told the Shadow Sect Immortals, "We will retreat." Ancient battle formation omnidirectional travel activated again as Feng Zhuzhe smiled bitterly, watching Fang Yuan and the others leave without giving chase. It turned out that even though his movement killer move, Yang Pass Tune, was very superb, it could even contain a variation move, Song Warrior, it had one weakness. That was a time limit. Each activation of Yang Pass Tune lasted a limited amount of time. Once it was up, Yang Pass Tune's effect would vanish, and Feng Zhuzhe would only be able to use it after 14 hours. Thus, for Feng Zhuzhe, this was a very precious immortal killer move, he would not use it casually in normal battles. Because once he used the killer move, he would be faced with a time limit. Once he could not end the battle within the time limit, Feng Zhuzhe would not have a better movement method to leave the battlefield. In the battle with Wu Yang earlier, clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building was too fast, even if Feng Zhuzhe used Yang Pass Tune, he could not escape. Earlier when chasing Fang Yuan, because he used omnidirectional travel, Feng Zhuzhe had to use Yang Pass Tune to catch up. When Fang Yuan used Myriad Dragon, Yang Pass Tune's time limit was up, Feng Zhuzhe could only smile bitterly in his heart as he used Drum Fist and Bell Palm to defend against Myriad Dragon. After Fang Yuan and the rest left, Myriad Dragon slowly faded away. In the huge battlefield, only Feng Zhuzhe was left. He was completely unharmed, he was still graceful and elegant, as if he had not fought in the battle earlier. Fang Yuan successfully retreated, Feng Zhuzhe did not feel dejected, he even smiled lightly. Fighting with Fang Yuan, how can it be settled in one battle? There has to be lots of probing, after finding out all his trump cards, I will be able to kill him. But before that, there is Heavenly Court's mission to force Fang Yuan and give us a chance of destroying Red Lotus, true inheritance. Fang Yuan seems to know a lot about me, is it because of Spring Autumn Cicada? That new female immortal looks like Fairy Kui Bo from Western Desert, but she uses soul path methods, it is quite strange. The result of his probing was very fruitful, especially regarding Ying Wuxie. In the previous fight, because of Fang Yuan's ample arrangements, Feng Zhuzhe did not notice Fairy Kui Bo. But now was different, Ying Wuxie has lead soul into dream, he is the greatest threat. Fang Yuan might have the move now, but it could also be with Ying Wuxie. In this battle, there was no Ying Wuxie, but there was a new member, Fairy Kui Bo. If I remember correctly, Fairy Kui Bo is the concubine of Thousand Transformations' ancestor, why is she hanging out with Fang Yuan now? Is it because Fairy Kui Bo is a member of Shadow Sect, or did she get possessed by Ying Wuxie? Even though Feng Zhuzhe was not a Wisdom Path GU Immortal, he was intelligent and nearly reached the truth in a short amount of time. And at the other side, Feng Zhuzhe indeed didn't chase us. Fang Yuan looked at the sky, even though his retreat had elements of probing, he had already obtained the truth. Yang Pass Tune had a time limit. After knowing this, the other Shadow Sect GU Immortals let out a sigh of relief. Feng Zhuzhe is powerful, true to his reputation. I can feel that he has methods left, he has not used all his trump cards. All in all, this was just a test run, we did not use our trump cards either, right? The GU Immortals conversed. It was indeed so, be it Black Tigress Tiger Lick Killer Move, or Bai Ningbing's Bai Shang, or Ying Wuxie's lead soul into dream, they were not used. In this battle, both sides reserved strength, but they also used many of their methods. Like Feng Zhuzhe's Yang Pass Tune, Song Warrior, and Fang Yuan's Myriad Dragon. When they fight again, these killer moves would be countered, or at least, they would be defended against. Several days later, on an ordinary sand dune, the wind of the desert blew up clouds of sand and smoke. The sun was setting, the clouds were red like blood. Camel bells rang with the wind, far away, there was a merchant caravan made by a group of mortal GU masters. These people were naturally unable to detect Fang Yuan and gang. At this moment, Fang Yuan's consciousness was in his immortal aperture. An immortal GU formation was set up in mini-central continent. Self-cleansing immortal GU formation. Using self-love immortal GU as the core of the rank 7 GU formation, and formation flag immortal GU as the supplement, once activated, it would cleanse all of the harmful Dao marks constantly. And because of formation flag immortal GU, this immortal GU formation could be moved temporarily. That was to say, when Fang Yuan wanted to, he could take out this immortal formation and use it himself. If he did not need to use it, he could place it back into the sovereign immortal aperture, it was very convenient. This immortal formation has a lot of room for improvement. For example, I can add time path GU worms to increase the rate of time. Unfortunately, my time path attainment level is too low, I cannot make deductions on that. Fang Yuan felt it was a pity. However, I am at least able to relocate the formation spirit over to become the formation spirit of this immortal formation. This was not strange. Fang Yuan only needed to combine that incomplete immortal formation with the self-cleansing immortal formation. And this was a type of immortal killer move technique, combination move. Fang Yuan was skilled in this and was a formation path grandmaster. He was very confident in this, he estimated that 3 days was all he needed. With the formation spirit, I will not need to activate the immortal GU formation myself, I can spend my time and energy on other things. But before that, I need to elevate Myriad Self to another level first. When he fought against Feng Juzhe in the anti-sound desert, Fang Yuan gained a huge amount of inspiration. That was the elevation of immortal killer move Myriad Self. At the same time, this is a dream realm indeed. But husband's will, rank 8 immortal GU mutation, and dancer Hong Yun, are they still inside? In the air, 2 rank 7 female immortals looked at each other. They were Thousand Transformations ancestors' concubines, one was called Night Temptress, the other was immortal concubine Qing Lan. Dancer Hong Yun and his will were trapped, Thousand Transformations ancestor naturally felt it. Not long ago, he received information that Fang Yuan and the others had plotted against him and even possessed Fairy Kuibo. Thousand Transformations ancestor was furious, but because his injuries were not healed yet, and without actual facts, he sent his 2 concubines to investigate it. Be it Night Temptress or immortal concubine Qing Lan, they were rank 7 experts, but against the dream realm, they were helpless. When they were feeling lost, a mysterious voice entered their heads. If you cannot explore the dream realm, why don't you find the culprit? Fairy Kuibo is with them. Who? Come out. The 2 female immortals shouted. They used their investigative methods but they could not find the source of the voice. Such impressive sound path methods. The expressions of Night Temptress and immortal concubine Qing Lan changed. Chapter 1423. Brand new Myriad Self. Western Desert. In the clear sky, the blazing sun was shining down. A red dream realm was floating in the air, it was extremely conspicuous. Dancer Hong Yun and Thousand Transformations, were trapped inside the dream realm, unable to escape. Night Temptress and immortal concubine Qing Lan surrounded the dream realm, flying around it. GU worms flew out of their hands as they were set up around the dream realm. Similar to the southern border righteous path GU immortals, they were creating an immortal GU formation to surround the dream realm and prevent others from getting it. There was no other way, all the super forces in the 5 regions and 2 heavens, including some lone immortals and demonic path experts, were researching dream realms but they were still at the elementary stages. During this period, few GU immortals would have methods against dream realms. Even though Thousand Transformations ancestor was a rank 8 GU immortal, and inherited a true inheritance of reckless savage, he was also without options against the dream realm. But concerning dancer Hong Yun and his own rank 8 immortal GU mutation, he could not give up. Thinking about it, he could only seal this dream realm first and wait. It is about time, I will defend us, you can finish the final few steps. Night Temptress and immortal concubine Qing Lan conversed for a while. Night Temptress was going to defend them while immortal concubine Qing Lan was going to set up the immortal GU formation. Among Thousand Transformations ancestors' concubines, Night Temptress had the highest status and strength, immortal concubine Qing Lan was second to her. Earlier, when the 2 heard the mysterious voice telling them about Fairy Kuibo's location, they became incredibly alert. Red Date Immortal Essence was instilled as the GU worms were activated, forming a vague shadow of the GU formation. The light was orange-brown, sand was dancing in the sky, as the shadows of beasts roamed around. Next, immortal concubine Qing Lan took out a crucial immortal GU. This was a rank 7 immortal GU, it seemed like a flightless cockroach, it had the size of a fetus, fist, it was flat and shining in a metallic color, giving off a feeling of toughness. Rule Path Immortal GU, pass. Seeing this immortal GU, Feng Juzhe, who was hiding, felt moved, his gaze turned heated. He had been looking for this Rule Path Immortal GU for the longest time. If I had passed GU, I would be able to extend the duration of Immortal Killer Move Yang Pastun, and with this Immortal GU, I can remove most of the Mortal GU, and reduce the difficulty and time needed to use this move. To think that Thousand Transformations ancestor has this Immortal GU. Feng Juzhe sighed, even though I created Obtain Treasure Song, which can refine wild Immortal GU, in this situation, the chances of getting it are too low. Night Temptress and Immortal concubine Qing Lan were very vigilant. It was really difficult to snatch someone else's immortal GU, only thieving heaven demon Venerable could achieve it with great success in his time. After him, even Theft Path GU immortals could not replicate his achievements. Pass GU was the core of this immortal formation. It activated and went into the yellow sand. A moment later, the shadows stopped transforming, turning into a light yellow cloud that floated in the air. Immortal concubine Qing Lan and Night Temptress let out sighs of relief. Alright, we created the immortal GU formation. With this GU formation, we can come here almost instantly. Let's see who dares to trifle with us. The two female immortals were full of killing intent. But Feng Juzhe did not show up from start to finish. Seeing that nobody came, the two women were relieved but also disappointed. Next, they left the place and returned. Feng Juzhe tailed them for a while, realizing that their destination was obvious. They were returning to Myriad Statue Desert. Strange, why are they not looking for Fairy Quibo? According to Thousand Transformations' ancestor's personality, how could he do nothing? Don't tell me something happened to Thousand Transformations' ancestor. Feng Juzhe had lots of information from Heavenly Court. He knew about Thousand Transformations' ancestor's mentality. He was an overbearing person who would always take revenge, therefore he created this plan. But Thousand Transformations' ancestor did not fall for it. He completely disregarded Fairy Quibo. This was strange. Feng Juzhe's plan of using Thousand Transformations to pressure Fang Yuan failed entirely. At this moment, Feng Juzhe obtained a transmission. He left secretly and met with two Heavenly Court rank 8 GU immortals behind a sand dune. Feng Juzhe was not unfamiliar with these two. Because in southern border, these two had appeared to block Wu Yang for him. After that, Feng Juzhe went to chase Fang Yuan while they went after the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle. Unfortunately, the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle had the effect of Connect Luck Immortal GU due to Fang Yuan. Back then, because Fang Yuan relied heavily on this precious rank 8 battle strength, he used Connect Luck to ensure its safety and also used Chi Luck Sensation to find its whereabouts. Even though Fang Yuan had other investigative killer moves, considering that Heavenly Court's GU immortals could destroy them, he chose Luck Path to be safe. After all, the only force excelling in Luck Path was Longevity Heaven. Even though Giant Sun was known as an immortal venerable, he had never joined Heavenly Court, or passed his Luck Path true inheritance to Heavenly Court. Thus, after Fang Yuan and the others used Burning Soul Bursting Luck, the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle gained a boost of luck and escaped. Next, Lu Wei Yin saved it and also removed all of Heavenly Court's investigative killer moves that were used on it. Because of that, the two Heavenly Court GU immortals chased it for a long time, expending a lot of effort, but did not manage to capture the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle that had escaped. They failed in their task and were reprimanded by Fairy Ziwei. After that, Fairy Ziwei sent them to reinforce Feng Juzhe. We already know about the matter of the Dream Realm. Thousand Transformations' ancestor's attitude is really strange now. We have received orders from Lady Ziwei. We will go to probe Thousand Transformations' ancestor. The two Heavenly Court rank 8 GU immortals said. Thousand Transformations' ancestor had a different response than usual to Fairy Quibo's matter. Feng Juzhe could sense something. The Wisdom Path great expert Fairy Ziwei naturally deduced more things. She deduced that there was a huge chance that Thousand Transformations' ancestor was injured and weakened. He could even be dead. Thus, if they probed him, they might be able to get Thousand Transformations' ancestor's true inheritance of Reckless Savage. Even if there was no gain, causing internal strife in Western Desert's GU Immortal world and getting rid of a rank 8 GU Immortal was very beneficial for them. After all, the 5 regions' chaotic war was coming. Central Continent was facing 4 regions, it had to prepare early and weaken the rest. Such situations were favorable to them. Fang Yuan flew in the sky. These last days, Feng Juzhe did not chase them. Fang Yuan decided to stop using omnidirectional travel. After all, the price of using this ancient battle formation was the Tao marks of the GU immortals' bodies. And because Feng Juzhe's location was unknown, using omnidirectional travel recklessly might even shorten their distance. Omnidirectional travel was only meant for emergencies. The rest went into his sovereign immortal aperture as Fang Yuan flew and pondered. A moment later, bright light flashed in his eyes as he slowed down and descended. When he landed, he opened his immortal aperture's entrance and let out Bai Ningbing and the rest. Defend me, I have already conceptualized it. We can set up the self-cleansing immortal GU formation now. Fang Yuan said. Next, he sat in the group and concentrated. The truth was, the self-cleansing immortal GU formation had already been set up and was inside mini Central Continent. But this immortal formation was not up to his expectations. According to his concept, Fang Yuan started to activate self-cleansing immortal formation. At the same time, he split his concentration to activate the incomplete GU formation. This incomplete immortal formation was taken from dancer Hong Yun. The formation flag immortal GU inside was taken out too, becoming a part of the self-cleansing immortal formation. And now, Fang Yuan was trying to fuse these two immortal formations into one. 2 hours later, Fang Yuan was covered in sweat. He opened his eyes and let out a breath of air, relaxing. The two immortal formations had fused into one. His main motivation for doing this was the formation spirit. The incomplete immortal formation with the formation spirit was fused into the self-cleansing immortal formation. The formation spirit also moved into it. After achieving this goal, Fang Yuan removed some of the GU worms from the incomplete GU formation and simplified the self-cleansing immortal formation. At this point, the entire immortal formation was completed. It could remove unfavorable Dao marks for Fang Yuan and the rest. However, Fang Yuan was not in a rush to get rid of Dao marks. He took out Self-Love Immortal GU from the Immortal GU formation instead. Self-Love Immortal GU was the first core of the self-cleansing Immortal formation. Once it was taken out, the Immortal formation would collapse. However, the current Immortal formation was still intact. It turned out that the formation spirit's ability to manipulate GU formations was above Fang Yuan. When Self-Love Immortal GU was taken out, the Immortal formation was near the brink of collapsing. But the formation spirit acted in time, adding a large number of Self-Love Mortal GU into the formation and replacing Self-Love Immortal GU. But this method could only be used in emergencies. Self-Love Immortal GU was the core after all. It was like the pillar holding up a building. With Self-Love Immortal GU taken away, the large number of Mortal GU used to hold up the building was just a temporary pillar. As time passes, this immortal formation would break apart eventually. Fang Yuan estimated that he had about 14 hours. If he returned Self-Love Immortal GU before the time limit, it would not break apart. Fang Yuan took out Self-Love Immortal GU not to test the formation spirit's ability. He had other objectives. Self-Love Immortal GU and Affection Immortal GU. These two Immortal GU flew in his immortal aperture as Fang Yuan instilled Red Date Immortal Essence and activated many Mortal GU. At the next moment, a vast amount of self-will was created by Fang Yuan like a huge tidal wave. Self-will formed into a giant of over 100 feet. It resembled Fang Yuan's appearance. It stood on the ground with a majestic body. Next, Fang Yuan breathed in deeply, activating Immortal Killer Move Myriad Self. At the next moment, the self-will giant vanished, as 10,000 myriad self-clones appeared in Fang Yuan's mini-central continent. Success! Myriad Self has been elevated to a new level. My battle strength has risen along with it. Fang Yuan was overjoyed. Chapter 1424 Refining Cleanse Soul Immortal GU again. Northern Plains, Langya Blessed Land. Working even at night, staying for months in the GU refinement hall, the light of the fire was reflecting on Sixth Hair's face. His face was covered in dust and soot, his eyes were bloodshot, he was staring at the burning flames intensely. Warm temperatures scorched the surroundings. Sixth Hair's hair was burnt, but he did not care. He was concentrating on his task. The GU refinement was at the final crucial steps. Luck Path is indeed really helpful in GU refinement. I am at this step again. I must succeed this time. Sixth Hair gritted his teeth, making up his mind. Suddenly, his vision darkened. Oh no, is my body at its limit? Never mind, moving of a single thought, blossoming of the red snake. Sixth Hair had a thought as red snake tattoos appeared on his body, moving rapidly from his waist to his chest area. At the same time, a surge of strength appeared out of nowhere, filling Sixth Hair up like he was an inflating balloon. Sixth Hair became energetic again. I used this move again. When the red snake gets to the top of my head and surrounds my whole body, I will die. But so what? All I need to do is refine this immortal GU and be of help to Shadow Sect. Let's do it. Thousand Li Soul Thread. Sixth Hair encouraged himself as the hairy man GU immortal behind him passed along immortal material. It was the Thousand Li Soul Thread. It was an immortal material created in the bodies of ancient soul beasts. The value of soul threads depended on their length. The Thousand Li Soul Thread that Langya sect had was extremely valuable. It was on par with rank 8 immortal materials. It was a quasi-rank 8 immortal material, but because it was too rare, it was not usually sold even in Treasure Yellow Heaven, thus its market value was at rank 8 immortal material level. For Fang Yuan's GU refinement plan, not just Sixth Hair, even Langya Land Spirit was helping out. It could be said that the whole of Langya sect was refining GU for Fang Yuan. After becoming the leader of Shadow Sect, he inherited Purple Mountain True Monarch's inheritance and had deep foundations. He used a portion of the cultivation experiences and immortal killer moves, as well as immortal GU recipes, to exchange for a vast number of sect contribution points from Langya sect. Next, he used these sect contribution points to make the whole of Langya sect refine GU for him. After refining self-love immortal GU, his next target was cleanse soul immortal GU. Sixth hair was already at the final few steps. He carefully received the 1000-li soul thread. The soul thread was like a strip of seaweed. It was dark green, but there was golden light shining in it. It looked like fireflies were inside this seaweed. 1000-li soul thread was very light. Sixth hair held it like a feather. He used refinement path methods and quickly cut down one section of it. Refining cleanse soul immortal GU only needed a small part of the soul thread. In fact, even without 1000-li soul thread, just 100-li soul thread was sufficient. But to raise the success rate of the GU refinement, and to save time, Fang Yuan paid a huge price to exchange for Langya sect's 1000-li soul thread. He was truly rich. The soul thread was tossed into the flames. In a split second, the blazing flames turned into eerie ghost fire as screams and cries could be heard. Sixth hair breathed in deeply, his eyes were bloodshot as he controlled the temperature of the fire. An hour later, in Western Desert, a huge immortal GU formation was making loud noises. The GU formation was about 16 acres large. While activating, it created huge dark green illusory figures. In this yellow desert, it was very conspicuous. Bai Ningbing and the rest were surrounding this immortal GU formation, patrolling and staying vigilant. The immortal formation's activation had reached a crucial point. However, Fang Yuan, who was at the center of the formation, had the time and energy to deduce other things at this moment. At this speed, in about 4 hours, I will succeed and get rid of all the unfavorable Dao marks. Heavenly Court's pursuers must be coming now. I am trying to get rid of the investigative killer move. There is no way they cannot sense it. Failed again. At the next moment, Fang Yuan frowned as he received Sixth Hair's transmission, regarding the failure to refine cleanse soul immortal GU. And this time, when the GU refinement failed, Sixth Hair suffered a heavy backlash and has to rest for a period of time. Sixth Hair was currently the most trustworthy person in Langya sect for Fang Yuan, more so than Langya land spirit. Him needing to rest was bad news. Including this time, cleanse soul immortal GU's refinement has failed about 10 times. Immortal GU refinement is a pit with no end in sight. While the hairy man GU immortals specialize in the nature GU refinement technique, to prevent Heaven's will from interfering, I can only use the human isolation style GU refinement method. It was not surprising that cleanse soul immortal GU's refinement failed. It did not waver his strong determination to continue refining this GU. Speaking of which, he had cleanse soul immortal GU in the past, but he lost it. Back then, cleanse soul immortal GU was a core of myriad self, but now, Fang Yuan did not seek to refine it for myriad self. His true goal was the strength path immortal zombie body. This 8-armed immortal zombie body had the soul path trap left behind by Ying Wuxie. Now that Fang Yuan became the leader of Shadow Sect, he had the method to remove the trap, but this method needed rank 7 cleanse soul immortal GU as the core. As long as he refined cleanse soul immortal GU, Fang Yuan would be able to use the strength path immortal zombie and gain wisdom GU's acknowledgement. He would be able to use the light of wisdom and influence the great era. Even though the Dao marks of secluded domains of heaven and earth like Danghun Mountain and Reverse Flow River were on par with rank 9 immortal GU, in terms of profundities, rank 9 immortal GU were superior. Especially wisdom GU, this rank 9 immortal GU was famous in less than the legends of Ren Zhu greater than, it appeared many times and even scammed Ren Zhu. Southwest direction, we have enemies. At this time, Fairy Miao Yin transmitted. Oh, they appeared after all. Fang Yuan was not surprised. He stood up. The immortal GU formation was still active. It was manipulated by the formation spirit. This was simply too convenient to Fang Yuan. The only flaw was, this self-cleansing immortal formation used a lot of immortal essence. Fang Yuan could barely sustain it. Along the way, with all these battles, Fang Yuan's immortal essence supply was dwindling, but thankfully, he had Wu Clan's 100,000 immortal essence stones. But now, the immortal essence stones storage was reducing. A moment later, Heavenly Court's pursuer came. It was Feng Juzhe. Why are you alone again? Fang Yuan smiled as he looked at Feng Juzhe. Feng Juzhe looked around and did not see Shadow Sect's GU immortals. He smiled too. Aren't you alone too? He. That is because I am sufficient to deal with you. Feng Juzhe, you will regret coming here. Fang Yuan laughed heartily. Feng Juzhe frowned slightly. This was out of his expectations. Fang Yuan was too confident. Strange, what is he relying on? Is there a scheme or plot? Chapter 1425. Beating Feng Juzhe till he spat blood. Fang Yuan directly charged at Feng Juzhe. Of course, his special robe was already present, glittering light was shining on his robe, he had a long sash that coiled around his waist and arms. As Fang Yuan charged out, the robe moved along with him. Immortal killer move, reverse flow protection seal. This move again. Feng Juzhe saw this and sighed internally, he very much was unable to break past this move. Thus, Feng Juzhe chose to retreat. He easily pulled some distance from Fang Yuan. Controlling reverse flow protection seal uses up too much mental energy, Fang Yuan cannot distract himself to use other moves, even if he has movement killer moves, he cannot use them. This means that when he uses reverse flow protection seal, other than defense, his other aspects are very ordinary. Feng Juzhe thought as he smiled. Fang Yuan could not catch up to Feng Juzhe, who was actively avoiding him, even after many tries. A glimmer of thought flashed in Feng Juzhe's eyes, he had not stopped thinking, why is Fang Yuan still alone? In this battle against Feng Juzhe, Fang Yuan was not aided by Bai Ningbing, He Lulan, or the others. Thus, Feng Juzhe's earlier tactic of dealing with them could not be utilized on Fang Yuan alone. But even so, Fang Yuan has no hope of winning. Even if he has good defense, he is a moving target board. Be it attack or movement, he is inferior to me, the battle is in my control. No, Fang Yuan is not so stupid. He must have other schemes. Feng Juzhe was not careless, he became increasingly vigilant. When Fang Yuan approached, he would retreat to a safe distance. Feng Juzhe, you chased me up to here, are you going to run now? Fang Yuan sneered. Feng Juzhe's smile faded. Is there a point in taunting me? Fang Yuan, catch up to me first. It is not easy to use reverse flow protection seal, as time passes, your mental energy will be used up, won't your immortal essence also be depleted? Such a strong method must have a huge price. Feng Juzhe held the initiative, he had a hold over Fang Yuan in both speed and battle tactic. This battle was very different from the previous. In the previous fight, they engaged in fierce combat. This time, both sides chased and escaped, other than some words, there was silence. Fang Yuan snorted, he had a way to deal with Feng Juzhe's actions. 500 years of experience was not a joke, in terms of battle experience, he had his fair share. At the next moment, Fang Yuan charged down and landed on the ground. Feng Juzhe did not pursue him, he floated in the sky vigilantly, observing this desert. He had suffered a territorial disadvantage last time when Fang Yuan used the anti-sound desert. Feng Juzhe remembered this lesson and had done his homework before coming, this desert was nothing special. Plop, with a soft sound, Fang Yuan drilled into the desert, moving underground. Feng Juzhe continued to investigate using immortal methods, but there were no suspicions, he used drum fist and bell palm to attack. Bang bang bang, clank clank clank. At once, drum fist and bell palm created huge holes in the desert, large amounts of sand splattered and created a huge cloud of dust in the radius of several li. But Fang Yuan ignored him, he continued digging deeper. Feng Juzhe frowned slightly. The deeper he went, the denser the earth path Dao marks, it would be disadvantageous to Feng Juzhe. At the same time, he had a suspicion, Fang Yuan is so confident now, did he have a setup here in advance? Or does he know about some special trait of this place that he can use? Feng Juzhe had all sorts of thoughts as he flew down. He shot out like an arrow, stabbing into the desert, pursuing Fang Yuan. He had to, because Fang Yuan could stay underground and use the immortal formation to remove the investigative killer move, Feng Juzhe had to pursue him. Even if he did not get rid of the investigative killer move, he could also set up GU formations or battlefield killer moves. If Feng Juzhe remained hesitant and did not chase him, Fang Yuan would have a lot of time to prepare amply. In that situation, Feng Juzhe would be stupid to wait. Thus, he had to chase and give Fang Yuan pressure. He had to force more trump cards to be used and ruin his battle momentum. Drum fist, bell palm. Even deep underground, Feng Juzhe's sound path killer moves were still very powerful. Explosions happened around Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's face was stern. Without the help of anti-sound desert, Fang Yuan could feel Feng Juzhe's terrifying attack power at its fullest. Even deep underground with rich earth path Dao marks, Feng Juzhe's killer moves were still overbearing. This was the advantage of sound path. Every path had its own specialty, in both advantages and disadvantages. Sound path was a minor path, but it had an advantage. The advantage was, sound path could travel easily, with relatively little conflict of Dao marks. For example, for ordinary paths like Earth path, the killer moves would be weakened by 50 to 60% in places filled with water path Dao marks. A sound path killer move of the same power would only be weakened by 20 to 30%. Without reverse flow protection seal, I would not be able to last until now facing these attacks. How did Feng Zhuzhe cultivate? How can his Dao mark accumulation be on par with rank 8 as a rank 7? Forget about this, it is time to retaliate. Immortal killer move, Ancient Sword Dragon Transformation. Instantly, a sharp light shone on Fang Yuan's body. But deep underground, light could not spread out. The moment Fang Yuan transformed, Feng Zhuzhe's investigative killer move sensed something amiss. Next, in a breath's time, the soil in front of Feng Zhuzhe exploded as a large dragon head appeared. Feng Zhuzhe was like a rat in front of an elephant, facing this huge dragon head. Ancient Sword Dragon, Fang Yuan. Feng Zhuzhe's pupils shrunk to pin size at this moment. Fang Yuan's counterattack was so sudden and so powerful. The dragon head opened its mouth and shot out a wave of silvery light. Sword Dragon Breath. At once, silvery light shot out like countless arrows. It was powerful and made the entire area glow silver. The sharp breath was still far away, but Feng Zhuzhe could already feel sharp pain, like hundreds of needles were stabbing his face. Boom! Sword Dragon Breath landed on Feng Zhuzhe. Feng Zhuzhe's body had clanging sounds, his defensive methods were activated, sound waves were forced out and destroyed by the powerful and destructive dragon breath. Ordinary dragon breath could only last a moment, but Fang Yuan had perseverance Immortal Gu, his dragon breath was unceasing and continuous. Feng Zhuzhe was forced back, under the impact of the sword dragon breath, he used his methods as he flew into the sky, escaping from the sword dragon breath's range. But at the next moment, Fang Yuan raised his head. The thick sword dragon breath shot up like a silver pillar, it was like the sharpest sword that pierced the heavens. It's coming. Feng Zhuzhe was not smiling anymore, his face was silver from the reflected light. Seeing the sword dragon breath, he retreated once again. Immortal killer move, Yang Pass Tune. Swoosh, he vanished on the spot, before appearing 1,000 steps away. Fang Yuan stopped his dragon breath as he roared, attacking towards the sky. His sleek dragon tail swung, as ancient sword dragon's speed burst out. At the same time, he used sword escape Immortal Gu. Tens of thousands of sword path Dao marks amplified the effect, giving Fang Yuan incredible speed. Boom! With a loud sound, he broke through air and went at supersonic speed. Instantly, Fang Yuan appeared in front of Feng Zhuzhe. He was so fast that Fang Yuan himself could not react in time, his vision blurred for a moment and Feng Zhuzhe, who was a tiny black dot, appeared in front of him, they were only a dozen steps apart. The dragon opened its mouth again, but this time, Feng Zhuzhe was amply prepared. He called out, "Go ahead." Next, against the impending sword-light dragon breath, he did not dodge, he attacked instead. Boom! With a loud explosion, Feng Zhuzhe flew backwards like a cannonball. For the first time, there was shock on his face as he felt deep suspicion. How can this be? Fang Yuan has reverse flow protection seal active. In the earlier battle, when Fang Yuan transformed into an ancient sword dragon, he could not maintain reverse flow protection seal. In the earlier clash, Feng Zhuzhe focused on this and attacked fiercely, but now, reverse flow protection seal reflected his entire attack to himself. Goo! Feng Zhuzhe felt pain in his chest as he spat out blood, he struggled to maintain his position in the air. The earlier attack not only had the force of Fang Yuan's attack, there was also the reflected power of Feng Zhuzhe's attack, the combination of both made him spit out blood. Fang Yuan had the advantage, he roared and charged forward. It was too fast earlier, but now, Feng Zhuzhe could see properly, the ancient sword dragon's silvery and shiny body actually had a layer of light, like a thin layer of clothing resembling flowing water. It really is reverse flow protection seal. He can maintain both immortal killer moves now. How did he do it? Yang Pass Tune. Fang Yuan missed and Feng Zhuzhe appeared elsewhere. The ancient sword dragon that Fang Yuan turned into could not tear open space, it could only travel rapidly in a straight line. Meanwhile, Feng Zhuzhe's Yang Pass Tune had the power of space path, it could teleport him to an entirely new location. From this point, even though Fang Yuan turned into an ancient sword dragon with sword escape Immortal Gu, he could not match Feng Zhuzhe's Yang Pass Tune. Unless Fang Yuan used the sword path movement killer move from Bo Qing's inheritance. But so what? Yang Pass Tune had a time limit. Once the time was up, Feng Zhuzhe would be at a disadvantage in terms of movement. I need to find a way around this while Yang Pastun is still active. Seeing Fang Yuan attacking yet again, Feng Juji's heart sank. Chapter 1426. Feng Juje retreats. Roar. Fang Yuan opened his dragon mouth and shot out his sword-like dragon breath. The dragon breath was like waves of silvery lightning, shooting out towards Feng Juje at incredible speed. Feng Juje continued to dodge with Yang Pastun. But usually after he uses Yang Pastun killer move, it would imply that Song Warrior was up next. Both sides fought from underground to the sky. They fought as they retreated and advanced, the dragon roared as drums rolled. Green Jade Song Warrior. Along the way, Feng Juje summoned a clone. The Jade clone charged at the ancient sword dragon. Feng Juje relied on Yang Pastun to gain an advantage in movement, and with his rich battle experience and calm analytical mind, he did not fail the activation of a single killer move. Fang Yuan snorted internally, he charged at Feng Juje without feeling distracted. Feng Juje knew that the Green Jade Song Warrior was not Fang Yuan's match, it could not break his reverse flow protection seal in the first place. Without getting past this, there was no way of defeating Fang Yuan. Thus, Feng Juje controlled the Green Jade Song Warrior mainly to distract Fang Yuan. The Green Jade Song Warrior was like a fly moving around Fang Yuan, disrupting his movements. After a while, Fang Yuan could not take the disturbance anymore and turned around to deal with the Green Jade Song Warrior. Feng Juji's pupils shrank. Fang Yuan had changed targets too quickly, but Feng Juje responded rapidly as well. Fang Yuan arrived at the Green Jade Song Warrior. The huge ancient sword dragon body against the small Green Jade Song Warrior. The dragon roared as intense winds blew, its ruthless dragon claws slashed at the Green Jade Song Warrior. Cracks started to surface on the Green Jade Song Warrior's body, there was a crisp sound as it was sent flying like a cannonball. But the Green Jade Song Warrior was not on the verge of breaking down yet, it was still able to fight. Crafty. Fang Yuan snorted coldly. In the earlier skirmish, the Green Jade Song Warrior did not attack, it was taking hits passively. Thus, reverse flow protection seal could not reflect any attacks back to it, just the ancient sword dragon's claws alone could not shatter the Green Jade Song Warrior. After all, Feng Juje had rank 8 level Dao marks, the Green Jade Song Warrior's defense was at the top of his Song Warriors. After sending the Green Jade Song Warrior flying, Fang Yuan turned to Feng Juje. But at this time, Feng Juje had already unleashed his second Song Warrior, Heaven and Earth Song Warrior. After dozens of rounds, Feng Juje continued to dodge with Yang Pastun, while summoning Song Warriors to fight Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan fought against 5 enemies, but he was still energetic and full of fighting spirit. Feng Juje could not help but retreat continuously. What is going on? Fang Yuan was at his limit activating reverse flow protection seal last time. But now, he can maintain both reverse flow protection seal and ancient sword dragon transformation, while fighting for such a long time, and he is still not at his limit. Feng Juje had a deep gaze, he purposely used Song Warrior to create a complex battle environment so that Fang Yuan would need to think constantly and expend his thoughts to deal with these problems. If Fang Yuan was barely using these 2 killer moves, he would not have enough thoughts in his mind, he would not be able to display such great strength now. This means, he had an incredible breakthrough in terms of sustaining killer moves. Feng Juje guessed. At this moment, Fang Yuan's body shook. Feng Juje was paying great attention to Fang Yuan, he saw this and turned joyful, don't tell me, he reached his limit. But at the next moment, Feng Juje tossed this thought away into the bin. Because Fang Yuan activated Immortal killer move, Myriad Dragon. At once, dragons flew and formed into a silvery sea, their aura was grand and imposing, it was a terrifying sight. A scene similar to earlier appeared again. Myriad dragons flew as the 4 Song Warriors were encircled and attacked. The 4 Song Warriors were outmatched and destroyed. Feng Juje ignored them, he used Yang Pastun to escape from the Myriad dragon's range. Yang Pastun's time limit was not up yet, Feng Juje had a lot of room to maneuver. Then what about this move? He looked at the Myriad dragon group, Fang Yuan was mixed inside, he could not be found. Next, Feng Juje placed his right palm on his left chest, by his heart. Next, his 5 fingers strung on his chest, creating light and deep drumming sounds. Thud thud thud, the drumming continued, spreading to the entire battlefield. Feng Juje did not need to discern who Fang Yuan was among the dragons. Because this immortal killer move was an area attack, it had a huge range. Fang Yuan was within the range of the attack, he was immediately affected, his heart started pounding as he felt his momentum going out of control. Fang Yuan was shocked. After all, he had reverse flow protection seal's defense, but he could not block this immortal killer move. No, most of the effect of the killer move was reflected back, only a small bit penetrated the seal and got to me. It seems that Heavenly Court has obtained some gains in deciphering reverse flow protection seal killer move. Fang Yuan sighed internally. There was no helping it, he had already used reverse flow protection seal multiple times. Heavenly Court had wisdom path great experts like Fairy Ziwei, together with star constellation chessboard. It was not strange she had such advancement. Boom boom boom. Following the loud sounds, the dragons around Fang Yuan started to self-detonate, exploding into nothingness. This immortal killer move chaotic heart drumming sound was given to me by Heavenly Court. It has wisdom path effects. Once hit by it, the GU Immortals' thoughts will be disrupted, their killer moves would not be sustainable. Fang Yuan, how long can you last? Feng Juzhe was in anticipation. An impressive killer move, it was designed to target me. Fang Yuan considered the effects of this incredible move. Right now, in the sovereign immortal aperture, large numbers of human-shaped myriad self-clones were self-detonating. The number of clones destroyed surpassed the number of his myriad dragons. Looking at them, the myriad self-clones were different from before. Their appearance was much more lively, and they even had vivid expressions. At this moment, they were sitting on the ground, thinking deeply. After being hit by chaotic heart drumming sound, these myriad self-clones self-detonated as they turned into white smoke and faded. After adding in self-will, these myriad self-clones gained wisdom path cognition, but this made them susceptible to Feng Juzhe's killer move. Fang Yuan placed a portion of his attention into the sovereign immortal aperture, looking at his losses. Almost every breath of time, dozens of myriad self-clones died. However, these vanishing myriad self-clones were not harmed by Feng Juzhe's killer move. Most of them died from sustaining my reverse flow protection seal and ancient sword dragon transformation. When I activated myriad dragon earlier, 1,000 of my myriad self-clones died after all. That's right. The reason why Fang Yuan was able to use reverse flow protection seal along with other killer moves was because of these myriad self-clones in the sovereign immortal aperture. All along, Fang Yuan had been troubled by this. Even though reverse flow protection seal was powerful, it took too much of his concentration and mental energy. While fighting against Feng Juzhe, he was inspired by Song Warrior. He had an idea. I also have myriad self-clones. If I can make these clones think for me, my battle strength would rise sharply. There were two difficulties in achieving this. The first problem was that myriad self-clones could not think. To think, he would need to use wisdom path thoughts, wills, or emotions. The second problem was that even with a large number of thoughts, wills, and emotions, after dispersing them into his clones, it could not collectively benefit him alone. Fang Yuan's first breakthrough in this was using self-love immortal GU and affection immortal GU. These two were very compatible. Fang Yuan supplemented them with a few mortal GU to form an immortal killer move that produced a vast amount of self-will. The second difficulty was solved by Fang Yuan using a method from Purple Mountain True Monarch's inheritance, immortal killer move, collective thinking. Of course, even though these two problems were solved, Fang Yuan still had to rely on his wisdom path grandmaster attainment level to modify myriad self to a whole new level. Feng Juzhe, your killer move is not enough. Fang Yuan snickered in his heart. Because he had prepared amply before the battle. He had prepared more than 1,000,000 myriad self-clones in his sovereign immortal aperture. The death of a few thousand was inconsequential. Immortal killer move, 3 breaths future vision. Immortal killer move, myriad dragon. Immortal killer move, sword marks targeting death. At once, the aura of countless GU worms emerged from Fang Yuan's body. These auras were messy and disorganized. Countless mortal GU and a large number of immortal GU flew out and created a grand arrangement. How can this be? Feng Juzhe was utterly shocked. Fang Yuan can use so many immortal killer moves at the same time. He was completely taken aback. It was unimaginable. He had always thought that Fang Yuan could only barely activate 2 or 3 killer moves. He was at his limit already. But seeing this now, Feng Juzhe finally realized that Fang Yuan's improvement in this aspect was so huge that it went beyond his imagination. This weakness that Fang Yuan had earlier was no longer a weakness, it was a huge strength that he had now. There were many clones remaining from the first myriad dragon killer move. After using it again, a silvery sea of dragons appeared again. 3 breaths future vision allowed Fang Yuan to have sharp senses, while sword marks targeting death was boosted by his sword path Dao marks. It was a huge threat to Feng Juzhe as well. Feng Juzhe gritted his teeth. He advanced instead of retreating, charging into the dragon group. Bam bam bam. A thunderous explosion resounded in the surroundings. Feng Juzhe rampaged within the myriad dragon group. He was increasingly shocked now. It was not a fluke, Feng Yuan has complete control now, he has not even used his full strength yet. I cannot stay here, I need to leave. While Yang Pastun was still activated, Feng Juzhe decided to retreat. He was actually forced to retreat by Feng Yuan alone. Chapter 1427. Planning to obtain Red Lotus, True Meaning. The orange light shone on Feng Juzhe and faded immediately. This meant that Feng Juzhe's immortal killer move, Yang Pastun, had reached its time limit. He had to wait 14 hours to use it again now. But that was not important. Feng Juzhe had already left the battlefield, Yang Pastun's time limit no longer mattered. This central continent genius rarely seen in 1,000 years landed on the ground slowly as he looked at the sky. He still had an elegant face, but he was frowning now. A long while later, he sighed deeply. Truly an amazing person. He was naturally not talking about himself, but Feng Yuan instead. Some time ago, Feng Yuan was still an ant in Feng Juzhe's eyes. Not long ago, even though Feng Yuan gathered the strength of a group of immortals, he could not match Feng Juzhe, he had to retreat. But in the earlier battle, Feng Juzhe was outmatched and had to retreat from the battlefield. This change was too rapid, Feng Juzhe could not believe it even now. Feng Yuan had deep foundations to begin with, he was reborn from the future and possesses Spring-Autumn Cicada, Giant Sun's true inheritance, and is now the leader of Shadow Sect, possessing Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's accumulation. He is like a dormant volcano, given enough time, he would erupt with lava that gushes towards the heavens. His eruption this time was not a fluke, it was bound to happen. Such a person truly needs to be killed with all our strength to prevent future trouble. But Heavenly Court is trying to make use of him to obtain Red Lotus, true inheritance. This is quite unwise. For the first time, Feng Juzhe felt doubts and disagreement with Heavenly Court's plan. In Heavenly Court, Fairy Ziwei was thinking. She watched the earlier battle through Feng Juzhe. Feng Yuan's battle strength surged. Not only did Feng Juzhe feel shocked, even this great wisdom path great expert was startled. A similar emotion to Feng Juzhe emerged in Fairy Ziwei as well. Feng Yuan's foundation was too deep, he was related to 3 venerables. And with his rebirth advantage, he only spent a number of years to become a GU immortal from immortal. And more than that, after the earlier battle, he fought Feng Juzhe evenly, he was someone that even rank 8 existences could not ignore. His improvement was too rapid. If he only had fortuitous encounters, like Ma Hongyun, so be it, that was not worth worrying over. The scary thing was Feng Yuan's personality. Such a demonic path cultivator with deep ambitions, along with his lack of any weak point in morality, he had always worked his hardest without giving up or feeling dejected, he could endure hardship and could keep a low profile to achieve his goals, taking no account of sacrifices or immoral methods. It was hard to imagine what experiences turned him into this person. Since rebirth, Feng Yuan had been mostly under Heaven's will's control. After the Battle of Yitian Mountain, he tried to leave the grasp of Heaven's will, but he exposed himself in the dream realm. His cultivation journey has always been filled with difficulties and hurdles. If he is given some time to cultivate in peace, his growth and strength would be unimaginable. Wariness. Fairy Ziwei started to feel a trace of wariness towards Feng Yuan in her heart. Feng Yuan's existence was a threat to her now. She wanted to eliminate him. The earlier she could eliminate him, the better. Thinking like this, Fairy Ziwei's killing intent rose sharply. Ziwei, don't be so nervous. At this moment, a low voice entered Fairy Ziwei's ears. She had a deep impression of this voice. She turned around and saw Duke Long indeed. Lord Duke Long, you are out of seclusion. Fairy Ziwei was surprised and overjoyed. Duke Long smiled. Yes. That means, Spectral Soul has been. That's right, I suppressed him completely already. But it is troublesome to soul search him. I need some time to have any effect. Duke Long smiled lightly. Ah, Fairy Ziwei had a happy expression, her eyes were shining with life. Such great news made her mood better, she was no longer as stressed as before. Duke Long continued, compared to Red Lotus True Inheritance, Feng Yuan is really nothing. But he is a complete otherworldly demon, Fairy Ziwei hesitated. That is because you do not understand Red Lotus Demon Venerable. Duke Long sighed, deep feelings were contained in his words. Red Lotus set up 7 true inheritances, but our Heavenly Court could not find one with all our efforts. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable obtained one of them. As long as we have this clue, we can find the rest of Red Lotus, true inheritances and get rid of them all. I understand, Lord Duke Long. Fairy Ziwei had a solemn gaze. We have a time path rank 8, Feng Juzhe, and 2 more rank 8s in the River of Time now. What do you think of that? Duke Long smiled. You are the Wisdom Path Great Grand Master, not me. I am assured if you are the person arranging it. Next, I will mentor the Great Era's Great Dream Immortal Venerable. Oh right, announce to the world that we have captured Spectral Soul alive. Heavenly Court has stayed silent for too long. It is time for the world to know that Heavenly Court will always be the #1 superforce in the world. I understand. Fairy Ziwei sighed deeply, watching as Duke Long took his leave. Western Desert. Inside the self-cleansing Immortal GU formation, Fang Yuan was concentrating in the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. Inside the Immortal Aperture, there was also an active Immortal GU formation. Compared to the self-cleansing formation, this Immortal formation was far smaller, but it still had 2 core Immortal GU. One was a Wisdom Path Immortal GU from Purple Mountain True Monarch's inheritance, the other was Bloodline Immortal GU from Wu Clan. Along with thousands of Mortal GU, an Immortal GU formation was formed, Blood Red Immortal Essence Formation. Large numbers of Immortal Essence stones were sent into the Immortal formation and turned into Red Date Immortal Essence beads rapidly. Fang Yuan was replenishing his Immortal Essence storage. In the earlier battle, even though he forced Feng Juzhe to retreat, he had expended a lot of Immortal Essence. His biggest expenditure came from Reverse Flow Protection Seal, followed by Myriad Dragon. The new Myriad Self-Killer move also had higher expenditure than before, because he was using Self-Love Immortal GU and Affection, these 2 Immortal GU, to produce self-wills. This was not a disadvantage. Stronger Immortal Killer moves used more Immortal Essence, it was common sense. But this was Fang Yuan's weakness. Fang Yuan had become a rank 7 only recently, he did not have much accumulation, because of worries about the Immortal Aperture's calamities and tribulations, his Immortal Aperture's rate of time had also slowed to its limit. Blood Red Immortal Essence formation was very efficient. Soon, Fang Yuan used up all of the Immortal Essence stones he obtained from Wu Clan. Fang Yuan also sent the Immortal Essence stones he obtained from Langya sect into the Blood Red Immortal Essence formation. His Red Date Immortal Essence storage gradually rose again. My battle strength rose, I am on par with Feng Juzhe now. The only flaw is that Myriad Self needs prior preparation. If I am caught in a surprise battle, it would be a problem. Against Feng Juzhe, Fang Yuan could take a risk and activate Myriad Self in battle. But against rank 8 GU Immortals, Fang Yuan would need to use Reverse Flow Protection Seal immediately. That way, if he activated Reverse Flow Protection Seal without Myriad Self's help, he could not use other killer moves anymore. He would only be able to take a beating passively. When the investigative killer move is completely removed, I should head to the tributary of the River of Time and obtain Red Lotus, True Inheritance. Even though Spectral Soul Demon Venerable took that True Inheritance, the true meaning of Red Lotus in it is endless. If I can obtain it, I will raise my time path attainment level to at least Grand Master level. In Shadow Sect's information, Western Desert had 2 tributaries of the River of Time in their control. But earlier, Fang Yuan already used up one to set a trap for Heavenly Court. Only one was left now. And this tributary of the River of Time was Fang Yuan's target now. Right now, Central Continent was somewhere Fang Yuan could not enter. As for Southern Border, he was currently pursued by Wu Clan and others. In Northern Plains, Longevity Heaven and the Huang Jin tribes would attack him. Only in Western Desert and Eastern Sea did Fang Yuan have less pressure moving about. Of course, he could go to Eastern Sea, but to get there, he would need to get past either Central Continent, Northern Plains, or Southern Border. Eastern Sea had tributaries of the River of Time, but compared to going there, Fang Yuan might as well try to use the one in Western Desert instead. Chapter 1428. Fishing for Year Beasts. This sky was extremely wide, it was filled with bright red light, as if the entire sky was filled with an aurora. Originally, there was nothing here, but now, a giant Immortal GU formation was floating around. This Immortal GU formation gave off the grand aura of Time Path. It was evidently a Time Path Immortal GU formation. Inside this formation, Fang Yuan, Bai Ningbing, He Lu Lan, Fairy Miao Yin, Lady White Rabbit, and Ying Wuxie were waiting vigilantly. This Time Path Immortal GU formation had been activated for a long time. It used rank 7 year GU as the core, with supplementary rank 8 Time Path Immortal GU years flow like water. Not all Immortal formations, cores were necessarily the higher rank GU. For example, this Immortal GU formation had rank 8 years flow like water as the supplementary Immortal GU instead. This Immortal GU formation came from He Fan's True Inheritance. Its main purpose was to connect with the tributary of the River of Time in the Immortal Aperture, sending out the aura of rank 7 year GU and rank 8 years flow like water to lure in year beasts. This immortal formation was named as the Immemorial Year Beast Fishing Formation by He Fan. The name was quite interesting. Others fished for fish, while He Fan fished for year beasts, and in fact, he went after immemorial year beasts. Ever since He Fan created rank 8 years flow like water, he had learned about the flaw of this immortal GU. Its aura was too tempting to immemorial year beasts. It could possibly cause immemorial year beasts to enter his immortal aperture by following the scent of the immortal GU using the tributary of the river of time. Thus, He Fan tried many ways and thought of many solutions. He first thought of the time path immortal GU formation that Fang Yuan had used earlier on Feng Juzhe, causing him to be trapped in the river of time. This formation could destroy the tributary of the river of time and seal the time in his immortal aperture to prevent immemorial year beasts from coming in. However, there was a huge weakness in that. Once the time no longer moved, all resources could not grow. GU worms also could not be used in the immortal aperture, because activating any GU worm needed time, even if it was only an instant. Any progress required time. Thus, once this method was used, the GU immortal would have to move the GU worms out of the immortal aperture and host them in their body. This was very dangerous. Especially in battle, it was easy for them to get destroyed by the enemy. He Fan was extremely talented. He created this move only as a last resort. But he was not satisfied with it. He continued researching. He soon found that as long as an immemorial year beast lived in his immortal aperture, other immemorial year beasts would sense it and think that this was the territory of the immemorial year beast. Even if years flow like water was extremely attractive, other immemorial year beasts would not try and barge in. Thus, He Fan first thought of a way to mimic the aura of an immemorial year beast. But his transformation path attainment level was just ordinary. He did not succeed. Next, he considered nurturing his own immemorial year beasts. But his grotto heaven was not large, it was already filled with resources. It was hard to create an environment for an immemorial year beast to live. Furthermore, to nurture an immemorial year beast, he would need to start by raising ancient year beasts. Treasure Yellow Heaven did not sell immemorial year beasts after all. And this process needed too much time. He Fan already had little lifespan left at that time. Both ways did not work. He Fan thought of another way. He wanted to use years flow like water to summon an immemorial year beast as his slave. Therefore, he created an immortal killer move. His enslavement path attainment level was at Grandmaster. It was not as bad as transformation path. He managed to create year beast summoning. But this killer move could only summon ancient year beasts. It was not easy to attract immemorial year beasts. At the final moments of his life, he created immemorial year beast fishing formation. This immortal GU formation could attract immemorial year beasts, but could not control them. He was merely fishing, and not summoning. The immemorial year beasts fished could not be controlled. He Fan's original concept was to summon an immemorial year beast under his manipulation. Even after his death, he did not achieve his goal. It was quite a shame. If he had more time, he might have succeeded. Beauty could not withstand the trials of time. The truth was, even geniuses were the same. If Fang Yuan had time, he would follow He Fan's idea and progress along this route. In time, he would be able to create an immortal killer move that directly summoned immemorial year beasts. This was a true inheritance. The inheritor would take over the predecessor's true inheritance, and instead of just mimicking it, they would refine and improve upon the details within, adding in their own flavor to the inheritance before passing it on again. A true inheritance was not just a gift, one had to contribute as well. However, Fang Yuan had no time to improve the true inheritance now. He needed to use this immemorial year beast fishing formation to lure an immemorial year beast, before using the killer move 180 slaves to forcefully subdue it. If He Fan had 180 slaves, he would have obtained an immemorial year beast. It is too dangerous for me to go to the river of time now. Not only is it a dangerous place, Heavenly Court might have some arrangements there. Earlier when Fang Yuan trapped Feng Juzhe, sending him into the river of time, Feng Juzhe managed to escape in the end, but Fang Yuan had his gains from this. Feng Juzhe managed to survive. It might be due to his own ability, or Heavenly Court's arrangements inside the river of time. No matter which one, when I enter the river of time, the worst case is that I will be obstructed and attacked by them. And inside the river of time, I have no territorial advantage. I am not adept at fighting in it. Unless I have an immemorial year beast to defend and ensure my safety. Fang Yuan planned meticulously. He was not going to put himself in danger. He needed ample preparation. Chirp chirp chirp. At this time, sound came from the tributary of the river of time. It seems that an immemorial year beast was finally lured in. Fang Yuan's eyes shone, he quickly activated the Immortal GU formation. Inside the GU formation, the tributary of the River of Time manifested. A huge monkey was observing the GU formation through this tributary of the River of Time. It had huge eyes with the size of an elephant. It peeked through the tributary of the River of Time like it was a small peephole, observing the scene behind the door. Inside this darkness, the immemorial year monkey could not find Fang Yuan and the rest, its gaze was completely stuck to years flow like water. Once it saw the rank 8 immortal GU, the immemorial year monkey's appetite rose, it started salivating. Year beast's 8-year GU is food, while years flow like water immortal GU could produce year GU. The immemorial year monkey saw years flow like water, it was the same as seeing a buffet with never-ending food. Chirp chirp chirp. It started to jump around in the River of Time while scratching its ears and body. Next, it breathed in deeply and attempted to enter Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture. Year beasts had the ability to travel from the River of Time to anywhere in the world. Fang Yuan used year beast summoning earlier, he summoned them from the River of Time. These year beasts were able to come out and enter the battlefield immediately. As long as the River of Time flows in that area, year beasts could enter. Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture was no exception. But entering it was harder than going to the 5 regions and 2 heavens. Once space tore open, the immemorial year monkey stretched out its 2 arms. Next, its furry arms pulled outwards, creating a huge hole. The colossal immemorial year monkey squeezed its way in. My sovereign immortal aperture is only a blessed land, but it can already contain immemorial year beasts. But for the immemorial year beast, this cage is too small, it is very inconvenient to enter or leave. Seeing this, Fang Yuan felt great joy. Since it was hard to enter or leave, when they fight, the immemorial year monkey would not be able to escape easily. After the immemorial year monkey entered, the space behind it mended. Chirp chirp chirp. The immemorial year monkey growled as it sniffed, smelling years flow like water's strong and dense aura, it pounced at the immortal formation. Rumble. The immortal formation had strong defenses, even though the immemorial year monkey slammed into it, it did not shake. Back then, He Fan designed this formation, he naturally considered this situation. Chapter 1429. Gaining another rank 8 battle strength. The immemorial year beast fishing formation had strong defenses, it remained unmoved by the immemorial year monkey's attack. But this intensified the immemorial year monkey's fighting spirit. Boom boom boom. It raised its fists and slammed down, its fists were like shooting stars, landing on the immortal formation each time. The immortal formation started shaking, the interior was having tremors, each attack by the immemorial year monkey caused large numbers of mortal GU to be destroyed. White Rabbit, He Lu Lan, and Ying Wu Xie, they were rapidly replenishing mortal GU. Some GU formations would break apart after losing 10% of its GU worms. Better GU formations would still remain intact even if half were destroyed. But the immemorial year beast fishing formation would remain intact as long as the core immortal GU was still around, and if it had 60% of its GU worms left. But its defense would collapse eventually, Fang Yuan could not allow the immemorial year monkey to continue attacking it. Immortal killer move, Bai Shang. At the next moment, a crack opened in the immortal GU formation as Bai Ningbing flew out rapidly. Boom, she was extremely fast, shooting out like an ice arrow towards the immemorial year monkey. Both were quite close together to begin with, and because of Bai Ningbing's speed, the immemorial year monkey could not react in time, its throat was immediately struck by Bai Ningbing. The immemorial year monkey took a small step back, it felt pain and growled, it grabbed towards Bai Ningbing with its huge hands. Instantly, Bai Ningbing felt her vision turn dark as 2 huge monkey hands approached to slam down on her, casting dark shadows. Bai Ningbing was not fazed, she snorted as she flew away. The immemorial year monkey's hands slammed from above, while Bai Ningbing flew out from under its crotch. Originally, with her speed, she could definitely escape the monkey, but strangely, the moment she got to the immemorial year monkey's stomach, she was caught. The immemorial year monkey grabbed with its hands, holding Bai Ningbing like a crystal ball. Next, it gripped tightly before extending its palms after some grinding. If Bai Ningbing was in her normal body, she would have turned into meat paste. But she had used the killer move Bai Shang already, she had turned into a 5-meter-tall snow giant. She wore ice armor and had 3 heads and 6 arms, she was barefooted and stood on 2 pale blue clouds. The immemorial year monkey opened its palms, Bai Shang was already crushed to bits. Chirp chirp. The immemorial year monkey saw that its enemy was eliminated. It laughed happily as it threw away the ice in its hands, before slamming at the Immortal GU formation again. The bits and pieces of Baishang floated in the air, slowing gathered with the wind, and in a few breaths' time, the complete Baishang had recovered, returning to a 5-meter giant. This was the profundity of the killer move Baishang. Bai Ningbing, who had turned into Baishang form, was no longer contained in a flesh body. Even if she had a fingernail-sized piece of ice left, she could instantly return back to the giant form. But this time, not only did my flying speed fall, my Bai Zhang's recovery speed has fallen too. Bai Ningbing thought as she flew towards the immemorial year monkey again. Immemorial year beasts had plentiful time path Dao marks in their bodies, their actions had time path effects, they could carve time path Dao marks in the surroundings, they were not a force to trifle with. Immortal killer move, penetrating ice blade. Boom. The ice blade filled with frost energy landed on the immemorial year monkey's shoulder, but could not pierce into its skin. Compared to the huge immemorial year monkey, the ice blade was like a tiny fruit knife. The immemorial year monkey caught Bai Ningbing again. She tried to dodge but failed again. But no matter how many times she was destroyed, as long as fragments of her body remained, she would rapidly recover. Of course, they had already checked that the immemorial year beast did not have any wild immortal GU. Otherwise, Bai Ningbing would not be so daring as to challenge the immemorial year beast's battle strength. The immemorial year monkey had a large number of wild mortal GU, but these GU worms were nothing to Bai Ningbing. The true threat was the immemorial year monkey itself. After a dozen rounds, Bai Ningbing got progressively slower and Bai Shang was taking longer to recover. In contrast, the immemorial year monkey was barely injured. There was some frost on its body, but it easily shrugged it off. Bai Ningbing's attacks could penetrate its skin, but the immemorial year beast's recovery speed was too strong, it completely healed in a few breaths' time. Even Bai Ningbing was feeling a little dejected. She felt like she was an annoying fly buzzing around the immemorial year monkey. Most of its attention was still on the immortal formation. Boom boom boom. Often, the immemorial year monkey would ignore Bai Ningbing's attacks as it slammed down on the immortal GU formation. This immemorial year beast has great strength. Fang Yuan observed the battle and concluded. Like how rank 8 GU immortals differed in strength, the same went for immemorial year beasts. This immemorial year monkey had incredible strength. Bai Ningbing could not deal any major damage even if she used her full strength. Even though Bai Ningbing had incredible talent, having the Northern Dark Ice Soul physique and Bai Zhang's true inheritance, her foundation could not compare with the immemorial year monkey which had lived for tens of thousands of years. The immemorial year beast fishing formation was suffering greater losses. The speed of replenishment by Fang Yuan and the others was starting to be unable to keep up. As the immemorial year monkey got more agitated by Bai Ningbing's attacks, it started to attack more rapidly. The immortal formation was starting to have cracks emerging. As the one with the strongest battle strength, Fang Yuan was not going to fight. Letting the immemorial year monkey attack the immemorial year beast fishing formation was a form of tactic to weaken it first. Among immemorial year beasts, they had different strengths and weaknesses according to their respective zodiac animal. In terms of strength, the immemorial year monkey was merely mid-tier among them. Immemorial year dragons, bulls, and tigers had far greater strength under the same circumstances. But even against this immemorial year monkey, the immortal GU formation was starting to collapse. Miao Yin, go help Bai Ningbing. Fang Yuan ordered. Fairy Miao Yin nodded as she flew out of the immortal GU formation. Having watched the battle for a long time and knowing the power of this immemorial year monkey, she did not dare to fight at close range. She immediately flew to a distance away. Immortal killer move, curved moon. Curved crescent moons appeared in both her eyes as she stared at the immemorial year monkey's eyes. After a long time, the immemorial year monkey had no reaction, as if Fairy Miao Yin had not attacked. It continued to attack the immortal GU formation. Sweat appeared on Fairy Miao Yin's forehead. Immemorial year monkeys lived in the river of time. Their eyes were submerged in the river water. The eyes had the most dense concentration of time path Dao marks. Fairy Miao Yin's sight attack was completely useless. Fine. Fairy Miao Yin's fighting spirit was ignited as she used another immortal killer move, Lingering Tune. This was not an offensive killer move, it was to supplement her other move. Next, Fairy Miao Yin started to sing. Immortal killer move, soft bone music. The music flew towards the immemorial year monkey's arms, and with the help of Lingering Tune, it coiled around the monkey's arms without fading away. Affected by this music, the immemorial year monkey's arm bones started to turn soft. The immemorial year monkey was slightly confused as it stopped for a second and looked at its arms. Then, it continued to send a flurry of punches, each hit made the immortal formation shake intensely. Fairy Miao Yin's eyelids were twitching. She activated 2 killer moves in a row, but it merely made the immemorial year monkey feel a little confused. The difference between rank 7 and 8 is too huge. Our attacks are simply ineffective. For the last few thousand years, the only people who could resist rank 8 as rank 7s were Fang Yuan and Feng Juzhe in this whole wide world. Similar feelings of admiration appeared in the Shadow Sect Immortals' hearts. Immortal Killer Move, Crimson Ray. Immortal Killer Move, Angry Bird. Immortal Killer Move, Fire Phoenix. He Lu Lan also flew out. She was familiar with the Fire Path killer moves, she activated them smoothly as they landed on the immemorial year monkey. They caused a huge commotion but did little damage. Fang Yuan, Ying Wuxie, and Lady White Rabbit were still inside the immortal GU formation. Rank 7 killer moves, even if they are profound, can barely have any effect on rank 8 existences. Fang Yuan understood this clearly. In his battles against Wu Yong and Feng Juzhe earlier, Reverse Flow Protection Seal dealt the most damage. Fang Yuan used many methods to be able to fight rank 8 GU immortals, but to kill them, it would be too hard. Not only could these rank 8 GU immortals escape, with just Fang Yuan's current offensive methods, he only used rank 7 immortal GU as the cores, his defense far surpassed his offense. If he could not, forget about the Shadow Sect Immortals. Only Ying Wuxie's lead soul into Dream was unstoppable, it threatened even rank 8 GU immortals. But Fang Yuan would not use it now. Firstly, fighting the immemorial year monkey could allow everyone to gain experience on how it felt to fight rank 8 existences. Secondly, by defeating the immemorial year monkey in a frontal battle, Fang Yuan could use 180 slaves more easily later. After subduing it, this immemorial year monkey would be more obedient. It is almost time. After some time, the immortal GU formation was at the brink of collapse as Fang Yuan flew out. Immortal Killer Move, Myriad Self. Immortal Killer Move, Ancient Sword Dragon Transformation. Immortal Killer Move, Reverse Flow Protection Seal. After several breaths, Fang Yuan turned into an ancient sword dragon, his silvery scales shined brightly and outstandingly. But against the immemorial year beast, he was simply like a tiny snake beside a human. But it was not a problem. Next, Fang Yuan activated a Rule Path Immortal GU. Big, 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 big. Ancient Sword Dragon's body rapidly expanded, it quickly became the same size as the immemorial year beast. The immemorial year monkey looked at Fang Yuan with deep wariness. Fang Yuan charged ahead and fought the immemorial year monkey directly. Fang Yuan had strength path methods, but his strength could not compare to the immemorial year monkey. Rule Path Immortal GU Big could only make him larger. Fang Yuan was often sent flying by the immemorial year monkey, but it suffered greater injuries than him. This was because the attacks it dealt to the ancient sword dragon were reflected fully by Reverse Flow Protection Seal, landing back on itself. This battle lasted for several hours. Fang Yuan focused on attacking while the others supplemented him. Even if rank 7 killer moves were ineffective, the damage still added up eventually. The immemorial year monkey was covered in injuries, it breathed roughly as it tried to escape. It tore through space and wanted to escape into the river of time, but Fang Yuan blocked it with his ancient sword dragon body. The immemorial year monkey was obstructed and could not escape. Eventually, Fang Yuan used 180 slaves. After the third time, it lowered its head, submitting to Fang Yuan. The immemorial year monkey was subdued. After losing his upper extreme heavenly eagle, Fang Yuan obtained another rank 8 battle strength once more. Chapter 1430. Entering the River. Sovereign Immortal Aperture, Mini Green Heaven. A huge area of Rainbow Dream Realm floated in the sky, turning slowly as time passed. A lump of self-will was here, turning into Fang Yuan's appearance, it was very realistic. Within the self-will, there was some red date immortal essence and several GU worms. This is the final attempt for now. Fang Yuan's self-will muttered as he started acting. As the red date immortal essence was expended, at the same time, self-love immortal GU and affection immortal GU were activated, followed by some supplementary mortal GU. Soon, a large amount of self-will gushed out, turning Fang Yuan's self-will into a several-meter-tall giant. After stopping his GU worm activation, Fang Yuan's self-will went to rest for a while. The entire self-will giant had shrunk by 10%, it was more dense and had greater ability to think for itself. Next, Fang Yuan's self-will activated another immortal killer move. This move had no name, Fang Yuan had created it recently to deal with the dream realm. The immortal killer move shined with bright lights, stabbing into the dream realm as if it was made of sharp swords. A few minutes later, Fang Yuan stopped his killer move, the entire self-will giant shrunk until it was a baby's size. The pile of red date immortal essence was almost fully expended. I failed after all. Fang Yuan's self-will sighed deeply. During the battle of the dream realm, Fang Yuan obtained a lot of pure dream reality seeker physique bodies. But on the way to western desert from southern border, he sacrificed a large number of them to block the enemies. After that, the remaining pure dream reality seeker physique bodies that he still had turned back to dream realms when they reached their time limit as they were incomplete bodies. Fang Yuan kept all these dream realms in mini green heaven. Fang Yuan's sovereign blessed land had the arrangement of 5 regions and 9 heavens. The area was so huge that it would scare GU immortals to death. But most of these areas were filled with resources due to Fang Yuan's management. Only 2 places were empty, one was mini red heaven, the other was mini green heaven. Not long ago, Fang Yuan had chosen to fight the immemorial year monkey in mini red heaven. As for mini green heaven, it was used to contain dream realms. These dream realms were all invaded by heaven's will, they were not uncontaminated, they were dangerously filled with heaven's will. When heaven's will lurked inside Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture, heaven's will would be able to connect with the outside world, even if the immortal aperture isolated it. Even if Fang Yuan had dark limit, he would be detected. Fang Yuan had learned this not too long ago. However, Fang Yuan was affected by the investigative killer move of Heavenly Court's Fairy Z-Wei earlier, and he did not have dark limit, since he was exposed anyway. He placed these portions of heaven's will in his sovereign immortal aperture, there was no big deal. Fang Yuan had been thinking of how to use this heaven's will to gain benefits. Exploring dream realms, taking the true meaning inside and raising his attainment levels. This was advantageous to Fang Yuan. Especially when he chose these dream realms, they suited him very much. But they were currently being pursued while the dream realms were full of heaven's will. All sorts of reasons made Fang Yuan unable to explore the dream realms properly. But what if I get rid of all the heaven's will inside these dream realms? This thought appeared in Fang Yuan's mind and rooted itself firmly. Theoretically, it was possible. Because true meaning was contained within dream realms, when people explore them successfully, they could take the true meaning and increase the attainment levels. And because the heavens will invaded these dream realms, since it could enter, it could naturally be removed as well. Or rather, if heavens will could invade the dream realms, why couldn't his self-will do the same? In the 500 years of his previous life, Fang Yuan had heard of a certain wisdom path great expert who invented a wisdom path method to use wills or emotions to invade dream realms and explore them. All sorts of reasons confirmed to Fang Yuan that this was a possible way. But his progress was not smooth. He used many methods and created immortal killer moves, but they were not effective. Not only did he fail to even touch heaven's will, the self-will's invasion of the dream realm even failed completely. It seems that my advantage in dream realms is only due to rebirth. If I look at it properly, I had no deep dream path research even in my previous life. Maybe when my wisdom path attainment level rises again in the future, I would have more progress. Fang Yuan calmly realized his insufficiency, he stopped hesitating. He started to use another immortal killer move on the dream realm. Soon, these dream realms turned into pure dream reality seeker physique bodies. Fang Yuan inherited Purple Mountain True Monarch's inheritance, he naturally knew the way to turn dream realms into pure dream reality seeker physique bodies. Of course, the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies refined were incomplete. And because he lacked some immortal GU, these bodies were inferior to the ones Purple Mountain True Monarch created during the battle of the dream realm. However, Fang Yuan was satisfied. He only wanted to move these dream realms out of his sovereign immortal aperture. Next, the dream realms in Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture were all turned into pure dream reality seeker physique bodies and extracted. Next, under Fang Yuan's arrangements, these pure dream reality seeker physique bodies were all placed into the positions that Fang Yuan planned earlier. Next, he ordered them to self-detonate and turn into dream realms again. These dream realms formed a tight defense that could block enemies. Even if Heavenly Court's rank 8 GU immortals came, they would not be able to do anything to these dream realms. After his arrangements, Fang Yuan started to set up the immortal GU formation. Right now, he was deep under a nameless desert. There was a huge natural solutional cave, the sand here had mixed with gold, forming gold rocks, they were shining brightly. But the most attractive thing to Fang Yuan was that at the center of the cave, there was a tributary of the River of Time. The size of this tributary of the River of Time was smaller than the previous one, but it was more stable. Using Fang Yuan's immortal GU formation, he would be able to reach the River of Time using this tributary. Indeed, this tributary of the River of Time was the final one that Shadow Sect had in Western Desert. Fang Yuan started to set up his Immortal GU formation. His formation path attainment level was at Grandmaster. When he was chased by Heavenly Court, he had interacted with formation path the most, be it the Time Exile formation, Self-Cleansing formation, or Immemorial Year Beast Fishing formation, they were all Immortal GU formations. These experiences made him more proficient in creating formations. Thus, he set up this Immortal GU formation calmly and with great confidence. And as expected, Fang Yuan created the Immortal GU formation in merely a few minutes. Bai Ningbing and the rest who were patrolling the area were immediately called back. Next, they went into his sovereign Immortal aperture as Fang Yuan ordered Ying Wuxie, "You can act now." Immortal Killer Move, Burning Soul Bursting Luck. Ying Wuxie used this Immortal Killer Move once more. Because of Connect Luck, Fang Yuan and the rest would become very lucky for the following period of time. Fang Yuan wanted to use it himself too. But Burning Soul Bursting Luck greatly expended the Soul Foundation. He had used it once before, he had no foundation to use it again. Ying Wuxie was Spectral Soul's split soul, he had a deep soul foundation and could use Burning Soul Bursting Luck multiple times. But Fang Yuan could not let his soul foundation fall too drastically. Lead Soul into Dream needed Ying Wuxie to have a strong soul foundation, otherwise, it would easily result in a killer move backlash. If Ying Wuxie tries to use Lead Soul into Dream on a rank 8 and faces a backlash, he would end up in the Dream realm himself and be unable to escape. Strength came with a price. One had to pay a price for everything they gained. The Immortal GU formation resonated. Under its influence, the flowing tributary of the River of Time started to become turbulent, the waves were becoming fiercer. There were a huge number of myriad self-clones in Fang Yuan's sovereign Immortal aperture. Together with Burning Soul Bursting Luck and the Immemorial Year Monkey. He had done all the preparations he could. He knew that this trip to the River of Time was dangerous, but he had to go. Immortal Killer Move, Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Immortal Killer Move, Ancient Year Beast Transformation. At the next moment, he turned into an ancient desolate beast as the Immortal formation burst out with strong light, charging into the tributary of the River of Time and creating a huge hole. Fang Yuan went in immediately. Swish swish swish. Huge waves caused countless ripples to form. The hole behind him only lasted a few breaths of time before vanishing. Fang Yuan's gaze was completely attracted to the sight in front of him. The River of Time, Chapter 1431, Wild GU Come. Legend says there was a river in this world, known as the River of Time. It flowed through the past, the present, and the future. Everything in the world was like fish in the river, and under the currents, the fish could only flow downwards. Without the River of Time, the world would be still, becoming a drawing. Only with this river can change occur, and the world can move, either prospering or withering. I am in the River of Time again. Fang Yuan sighed. He looked around. The river was huge and wide. Even though it was called the River of Time, it was as vast as the sea. In the darkness of this space, a huge river was flowing unceasingly. The river water was pale white, but countless ripples were colliding and creating beautiful colors at all times. The lights were dazzling and reflecting off Fang Yuan's face. Fang Yuan was dazed for a moment before recovering. He opened his Immortal aperture's entrance and let out the Immemorial Year Monkey. Ook ook ook. This huge beast returned to its home. It was very excited. Plop. It landed in the river water and created a huge splash. Fang Yuan also turned into an ancient year monkey. He was much smaller than the Immemorial Year Monkey. He was floating in the air now as he was not a true year beast. Even though his transformation path Dao marks had turned into time path Dao marks for him to adapt to this place, it was better to not touch the water of the River of Time if he could. Let's go, Fang Yuan ordered, as the Immemorial Year Monkey started to swim. The benefit of beating it earlier was showing, it was much more obedient than the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle. However, even though he used 180 slaves, because Fang Yuan's soul foundation had fallen greatly, it was quite hard to control this Immemorial Year Monkey. Even though we are in a peaceful situation now, the enslavement is already difficult, my soul feels very heavy. If we are in intense battle, I may not be able to order the Immemorial Year Monkey. Fang Yuan was alerted inwardly. This was a flaw, but there was no helping it. Fang Yuan had done his best. They moved on quietly. Swish swish swish. Tides continued to crash. Fang Yuan was here for the first time using his physical body. The last few times, he used Spring Autumn Cicada to send his will into the river. Because of influences like Heaven's will, he only had a glimpse of the River of Time. He could not observe it in full, but now, he had an eye-opening experience. The River of Time was a secluded domain of heaven and earth. It was widely known and was inside less than the legends of Ren Zhu greater than. But to enter with one's physical body, they had to be Gu Immortal experts with deep time path foundation. Fang Yuan could enter even though he lacked that because of transformation path, as well as Purple Mountain True Monarchs and Heifan's inheritances. The River of Time was not without life. Fang Yuan first saw a couple of wild year Gu chasing each other before entering the river water again. Next, he saw groups of wild time path Gu worms flying in the sky. They were like countless flies. 5 to 6 wild year Gu approached Fang Yuan and quietly landed on him without moving anymore. So that's it. Fang Yuan's thoughts shifted as he realized why. He was now an ancient year monkey. Because of rank 8 attitude Gu and familiar face, wild Gu could not discern his aura. They treated him as a wild ancient year monkey. These few time path mortal Gu were all attracted to Fang Yuan's time path Dao marks. They felt that it was the best place to live, so they went to him. It was indeed so. In nature, Gu worms were fragile. Even though wild Gu worms could absorb the natural essence of heaven and earth, they were still in danger even if they had strong abilities. Thus, living in strong lifeforms was their way of survival. Fang Yuan moved for a few minutes and already had several hundred wild mortal Gu in him. Most were day Gu and month Gu, there were no year Gu. As for the immemorial year monkey, it had greater gains. This immemorial year monkey had wild mortal Gu in it, but they were destroyed when fighting Fang Yuan. There were few left. And now, they were greatly replenished. The immemorial year monkey was naturally more attractive than Fang Yuan. It was very popular with the wild time path mortal Gu. As it swam in the river, swarms of time path Gu worms surrounded it like a black cloud. But this situation only lasted for a moment before slowing down rapidly. Like how beasts occupied territories, when Fang Yuan and the immemorial year monkey had a large number of wild mortal Gu on them, other mortal Gu would feel that it was crowded and stop coming to them. Fang Yuan thought about it. He did not do anything to these wild mortal Gu. With his current capabilities, it was easy for him to refine these wild mortal Gu. However, that would ruin Fang Yuan's disguise. Furthermore, these wild time path mortal Gu were nothing special. Unless they were immortal Gu, they had little attraction to Fang Yuan. Roar! While they were traveling, an ancient year tiger emerged from the water, but it left without even pausing, escaping far away. This situation had happened many times. The immemorial year monkey was simply like an express pass on their journey. In fact, other than year beasts, there were also month beasts and day beasts. Similar to year beasts, they fed on month Gu and day Gu respectively. After 2 hours, the river of time was still turbulent while darkness surrounded them. The scenery had not changed. It was almost as if everyone was still at the same spot where they started. Half the body of an immemorial year monkey was submerged in the water, moving forward slowly like a floating hill. As for Fang Yuan, he turned into an ancient year monkey and floated in the air above the river, moving slowly. Fang Yuan was certain, because he had Purple Mountain True Monarch's inheritance, the feeling in his heart intensified. As long as he followed this feeling, he would definitely find that Red Lotus true inheritance that spectral soul demon Venerable obtained. The thing that obstructed him other than the treacherous river of time was Heavenly Court's pursuit and ambush. Rumble. Suddenly, with a loud sound, a current shot out of the raging river of time. The current shot out towards the left of Fang Yuan, in front of him. Grr! The immemorial year monkey growled as a hint of seriousness showed on its relaxed face. This is a sudden spring. Fang Yuan's pupils shrunk slightly. The river of time was not safe. Some river segments were very dangerous with many uncertainties. Sudden springs were one of them. When traveling in this river segment, one had to be wary of suddenly rising springs. If they are hit by it, a vast number of time path Dao marks would be carved on the target. They might suffer heavy injuries or die. They might even lose lifespan. Fang Yuan vigilantly moved towards the immemorial year monkey's head. He lacked methods to deal with sudden springs. He could only use this immemorial year beast's tough body to resist it. They had to cross this river. It was necessary to get to Red Lotus, true inheritance. Just when Fang Yuan was fully focused on traveling in the river, near the tributary of the River of Time in Western Desert, 3 Gu Immortals arrived. 1 rank 7 Gu Immortal with great elegance and 2 rank 8 Gu Immortals that were stable like mountains. It was Feng Zhu, as well as the 2 rank 8 Gu Immortals from Heavenly Court. Fairy Ziwei's plan was to find Red Lotus, true inheritance using Fang Yuan as the key. Now that Fang Yuan had entered the River of Time to obtain Red Lotus, true inheritance, she was definitely going to send people after him. To think this otherworldly demon is so powerful, he could actually fight Brother Feng evenly. With our help, no matter how talented he is, he cannot escape. The two rank 8 GU immortals had not met up with Feng Zhuzhe for a long time, and he was not someone who would conceal information for the sake of reputation. He directly explained Fang Yuan's sharp rise in battle strength to them. If we work together, we should be able to kill Fang Yuan. Feng Zhuzhe nodded slightly. Fang Yuan's battle strength was similar to his. Against one rank 8 GU immortal, it would be barely enough. Against two, it would be extremely difficult. Especially now, Feng Zhuzhe's chaotic heart-drumming sound was modified by Fairy Ziwei again. It was the trump card to deal with Fang Yuan. These are dream realms. A moment later, Feng Zhuzhe and the rest could not help but land, looking helplessly at the dream realm defensive line. It seems we can only wait. The dream realms move constantly, a gap will appear in the defense soon, we will be able to enter. Other than us, Lord Huangshi is in the River of Time. He is the person most skilled with fighting in the River of Time for the last 10,000 years. Fang Yuan is not his match. The three immortals discussed, deciding to stay and wait for an opportunity. In the River of Time. Grr, the immemorial year monkey growled, its body was covered in injuries. Fang Yuan turned around, looking at the river segment behind him, he felt a little fearful. Thankfully, the immemorial year monkey is here to defend me, otherwise, how could we get past this place so easily? The sudden springs had great power, they had at least rank 7 killer move strength, with most being rank 8, Fang Yuan even saw a sudden spring that had rank 9 power. The eruption of this sudden spring was like a huge waterfall that flowed upwards towards heaven. Thankfully, Fang Yuan was far from it when it burst out, he was safe. The immemorial year monkey is quite injured, but my methods are limited, I cannot heal it. Fang Yuan inspected and mentally sighed. Other paths, healing methods were restricted here. In terms of time path methods, Fang Yuan only had manas before, but this immortal GU only worked on human bodies. Fang Yuan could only let the immemorial year monkey recover on its own. Should I stop for a moment and rest? For the immemorial year monkey to recover fully? Fang Yuan could not help but hesitate. The sudden springs were just the first hurdle to Red Lotus, true inheritance. Fang Yuan still had to face the dark web spiders, one-finger flow sharks, and a special blade river segment. These three hurdles were more dangerous than the sudden springs. Sudden spring river segment. Lord Huangshi looked at the river in front of him as he frowned. According to Lady Ziwei, Fang Yuan is right ahead. Immediately after, Lord Huangshi's eyes shined brightly as he flew towards the sudden spring river segment resolutely. Chapter 1432, Huangshi's Pursuit. Boom, a huge sudden spring burst out of the peaceful river surface. Compared to this sudden spring, Lord Huangshi, who was flying in the air, resembled a tiny mosquito. Even before the sudden spring hit him, Lord Huangshi felt like it was getting faster and faster. That was not true, of course. The sudden spring actually became slower as it got higher and higher. The reason why Lord Huangshi felt that was because his own relative speed had fallen. This was the River of Time. The eruption of sudden springs will cause everything around it to slow down. In that case, the target would find it harder to escape. HMPH. Lord Huangshi was not fazed. At the crucial moment, bright light shone from his head. At the next instance, he was completely restored to normal condition as he retreated, causing the sudden spring to miss its target. Rumble. With another loud sound, the sudden spring crashed back into the river and created a huge wave. Lord Huangshi wiped the sweat off his forehead. This sudden spring has the power of a rank 8 killer move, even I have to be careful. If I got hit, I would suffer great injuries. If I encounter a rank 9 level sudden spring, I would definitely be gravely injured, I might even die. Lord Huangshi felt pressured in his heart. Even though he was a rank 8 GU immortal and had territorial advantage when fighting in the River of Time, he knew that Fang Yuan had luck path methods, and even a rather comprehensive all living beings luck true inheritance. Being at the sudden spring river segment, other than one's strength, one had to depend on their own luck. I am chasing after Fang Yuan now, this is not beneficial to him. According to the profundities of luck path, my journey will not be smooth, it will be filled with problems. Fang Yuan chose this route to trouble me, this is a good plan. However, Lord Huangshi frowned, feeling doubts. No matter how lucky Fang Yuan is, he can't avoid all the sudden springs, right? Even if rank 9 sudden springs are rare, those rank 7 sudden springs are countless, and there are also many rank 8 sudden springs. How did he pass them? Did he use reverse flow protection seal the entire time? If he was using reverse flow protection seal, this would be great news to Lord Huangshi. Because this sudden spring river segment was very long, if Fang Yuan used his killer move the entire time, his immortal essence would be greatly expended. This would be helpful when Lord Huangshi fights him later. Lord Huangshi did not expect that Fang Yuan would enslave an immemorial year monkey to act as his shield. Even though Fang Yuan could control the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle, Heavenly Court attributed that to He Fan's true inheritance. Fang Yuan was controlling a rank 8 existence with rank 7 cultivation level. It was a shocking accomplishment. But the truth was 180 slaves, and years flow like water. Immortal goose flaw. Especially the latter, He Fan did not expose his own weakness. This secret was unknown to Heavenly Court. They could not deduce that Fang Yuan had a way to lure immemorial year beasts to him. Because of such reasons, Heavenly Court did not manage to learn that Fang Yuan could control an immemorial year beast. After a few minutes, Lord Huangshi flew out of the sudden spring river segment. Fairy Ziwei's guidance was transmitted to him again. Lord Huangshi changed directions, raising his speed as he flew towards Fang Yuan. A moment later, his figure paused as he looked ahead uncertainly. Dark web spider. Lord Huangshi had a grim expression as he muttered this. In front of him, there was a huge spider with a pale white body. It was unmoving on a huge web. The spider was larger than the sudden spring earlier. It was like a mountain. Its 4 limbs were like ridges. Compared to the spider, Lord Huangshi was tiny. He was like an ant in front of an elephant. Larger than the dark web spider was the huge web it was on. This huge web was made of a crystal-like substance. Some threads were thin, while others were thick like tree trunks. The web was not flat, it was weaved into a forest-like cage. Countless spider threads stabbed into the water of the river of time like roots. No matter how the water flowed, these threads remained stationary. A vast number of spider threads weaved together into a huge crystal nest. Each of the connectors had many complex threads linking to different directions. Lord Huangshi's heart sank. He did not dare to believe it. Fang Yuan and the rest managed to get past here to head to Red Lotus, true inheritance. He confirmed it again. Fairy Ziwei's directions were not wrong. This made him even more confident of his conjuncture now. Fang Yuan had designed this route to target him. Fang Yuan wants to use this dangerous place to force me to retreat. Lord Huangshi had a cold expression. He snorted before flying into the huge crystal nest. Each dark web spider was an immemorial desolate beast. They had their own territories in the river of time. In their territory, even immemorial desolate beasts would not dare to rampage. It was a predator at the top of the food chain. The dark web spider relies on its unimaginable great strength besides its huge body, as well as its sharp mouth and this crystal nest. Each crystal nest thread is extraordinary. GU Immortals of the past gave it a fanciful name, used until today. Peaceful time thread. Any rank 7 or below existence would be in a state of frozen time if they touch the thread. They cannot move and would end up being eaten by the dark web spider which moves slowly towards it. For someone like Lord Huangshi, one single thread of peaceful time thread cannot affect him, but with 100 of them together, even he would be in grave danger. And in the entire crystal nest, how many peaceful time threads were there? Simply uncountable. Lord Huangshi moved very slowly. He carefully moved past each of the threads that had weaved into a web. He had thought of detouring this dangerous place to pursue Fang Yuan. But this way, he would need to travel a long route. Fang Yuan would gain a lot of time instead. And what if this Red Lotus true inheritance was inside the crystal nests to begin with? Thus, Lord Huangshi had to step into this dangerous place and pursue Fang Yuan. As long as I remain careful and avoid touching any peaceful time thread, I will be able to get through this safely. Lord Huangshi thought as a loud explosion occurred. There was incredible sound resembling the crashing of heaven and earth. The crystal web nest shook along with the loud sound waves. The dark web spider was alerted. Its 180 compound eyes stared at Lord Huangshi. Damn it! It must be Fang Yuan's trap. Lord Huangshi was furious, but he felt little shock. If he was Fang Yuan, he would have set the same trap against his enemies. Since I am able to get here, I have my assurance, I am able to get past this dangerous area while the dark web spider is alerted. With a cold snort, Lord Huangshi started to use his immortal killer move on the crystal threads. These crystal threads were not easy to destroy even though they were fragile, because any killer move would freeze in time as long as they got closer to the threads. Of course, against rank 8 killer moves, the peaceful time threads had an upper limit in terms of defense. Lord Huangshi started to act, using his rank 8 killer moves to attack the crystal threads, at an increasingly fast speed. He was a time path great expert, he had effective methods against the peaceful time threads. Furthermore, that dark web spider moved slowly, it could not catch up to Lord Huangshi. Lord Huangshi did not want to fight the dark web spider, he had a huge responsibility on him. But his path of retreat was not smooth, there were often immortal killer moves, sound waves, frost, and flames obstructing him. Lord Huangshi's speed was greatly obstructed, he was eventually caught up by the spider as they fought intensely. Bam bam bam. After an intense battle, Lord Huangshi broke free from the dark web spider and left its territory. But now, he was in a more sorry state than before, not only was he covered in dust, he even suffered minor injuries. This damn Fang Yuan, how many traps did he set? And these traps all activate at the perfect timing, there is deep planning in this. Lord Huangshi suffered a loss, he was filled with rage, he would not let Fang Yuan off. He flew while he treated his injuries. Not long after, he entered a weird river segment. What is going on? I can feel a strong sword path and blade path aura in this river segment. Lord Huangshi was surprised as suspicion flashed on his face. He slowed down and observed, this river segment had permeating sword chi and blade light. Wait, don't tell me, this is... Lord Huangshi frowned. I traveled upstream towards the past, in terms of distance, I probably went back to 100,000 years ago, I am at the late antiquity era. Late antiquity era, sword path, blade path. I know, western deserts Shi Yuan, this person cultivated sword path, created sword abyss, and killed 3 rank 8 GU immortals. There is another blade path demonic immortal, he is known as Dao Ju Lang, he had overwhelming demonic might, rampaging in western desert, he managed to break the expulsion formation and shook the world. These two fought before, it was an intense fight that led to great destruction. Lord Huangshi used his investigative methods, and as expected, this segment of the river was affected by the battle between these two rank 8 great experts, causing this to become a blade river segment. It was more dangerous to get past here compared to the sudden spring river segment, because it was possible that Dao Julang's or Shi Yuan's immortal killer moves would suddenly appear and attack. When sudden springs occur, there is a process in their eruptions. But this blade river segment did not have that. Fang Yuan and the rest actually came here. Are they trying to die? Lord Huangshi gritted his teeth, entering. Since Fang Yuan and the rest could enter, as a rank 8 great expert, he could not back down. Fairy Ziwei guided him as Lord Huangshi got closer to his target. Roar! The immemorial year monkey fought in turbulent waves, it was covered in injuries, blood was flowing as the surrounding area was dyed red. On the immemorial year monkey, Bai Ningbing, Fairy Miao Yin, and the rest were defending themselves. I finally found you all. Lord Huangshi's eyes shined brightly, he charged ahead without thinking. Chapter 1433. How shameless could it get? Bai Ningbing and the rest were trapped in the Blade River segment, they could not escape. Lord Huangshi saw this great opportunity, how could he let it go? He had chased them along the way, he was extremely furious, now that he saw his prey, he immediately pounced forth. Swish swish swish, the river of time had surging waves. Mixed within were sword chi and blade light, shooting towards the shadow sect immortals. Lord Huangshi was not exempted, he was taken care of by the sword chi and blade light, but his defensive methods were not weaker than shadow sect's immortals, he had an easier time. Immortal killer move, Sun Moon Divine Shuttle. Lord Huangshi looked down as he pushed with both hands, countless arrowhead shuttles shot out like a storm, towards the shadow sect immortals. Enemy! Bai Ningbing shouted to alert them. Sun Moon Divine Shuttle was very powerful, even though Bai Ningbing and the rest defended themselves, they were heavily suppressed by the killer move. Roar! This angered the immemorial year monkey, it growled as it exerted force in its lower body, its entire body left the river water as it jumped towards the sky. Sun Moon Divine Shuttle landed on its body and created small bleeding holes, but for this huge immemorial year monkey, that was only a light wound. The huge monkey hands grabbed towards Lord Huangshi while whipping up fierce winds. Feeling this terrifying power, Lord Huangshi's eyelids twitched, he expressed shock on his face. This immemorial year monkey is the real deal, it is not Fang Yuan's transformation. They actually control a rank 8 battle strength like this immemorial year monkey. Lord Huangshi was not a strength path or transformation path GU immortal, he was not good at close combat. Even though he was a heavenly court rank 8 GU immortal, against the immemorial year monkey, he had to retreat. He moved rapidly, getting to an area far away in an instant. In here, there were dense time path Dao marks, he could fight with great strength. The immemorial year monkey missed and landed back into the river, but it growled and leapt again, jumping into the sky and attacking Lord Huangshi. Lord Huangshi's eyes shined brightly. He saw that the immemorial year monkey was covered in wounds, it was not in its best condition. But that was natural, the immemorial year monkey must have played a huge part for Fang Yuan and the rest to get here, it had likely lost 30 to 40% of its strength. In that case, Lord Huangshi's battle intent became firmer. He breathed in deeply and used another immortal killer move. Immediately, a yellow soil rock appeared above his head. The rock moved slowly, it made the time around Lord Huangshi move slowly too. Next, dust and sand emerged from the rock and landed on the immemorial year monkey in a flash. Affected by the yellow dust, the immemorial year monkey's rate of time reduced rapidly, it became slower and slower, the time it took to jump became much longer. Lord Huangshi saw this and let out a breath of air, feeling joyful. He was very confident in his method, as the dust accumulates, the immemorial year beast would get even slower. At this rate, Lord Huangshi would control the situation very soon. But right at this moment, bam, a huge wave shot towards the sky, directly towards Lord Huangshi. From within the pale wave of the river of time, a strong blade light shot out with blinding light. The blade light landed on Lord Huangshi as his body shook, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Lord Huangshi was injured, the dust and sand shook as the immemorial year monkey struggled from within. Lord Huangshi quickly held his breath and used his immortal killer move more intensely, making the dust thicker to trap the immemorial year monkey. Bai Ningbing and the rest used their methods to unleash frost, flames, and sound waves on the immemorial year monkey, but they could not affect this sand and dust. In the river of time, time path lifeforms were greatly strengthened, Bai Ningbing and the rest were weaker than Lord Huangshi to begin with. Due to these time path Dao marks, their battle strength was even lower than usual. At the crucial moment, Ying Wuxia's expression turned grim, he was about to use the invincible lead soul into dream. But at this moment, Ying Wuxia lost his target. He could not sense the existence of Lord Huangshi. Lead soul into dream needs to sense the other party to activate. Otherwise, it is useless. This Lord Huangshi already has a way to hide from my soul path senses. Oh, the defensive killer move that Lady Ziwei gave me activated hee. Lord Huangshi snickered coldly. The moment Ying Wuxia wanted to use lead soul into dream, he had a feeling. Even though lead soul into dream was powerful, it had flaws too, it was not a perfect killer move. Fairy Ziwei sent Lord Huangshi on this mission alone to pursue Fang Yuan and the rest, she naturally had measures against lead soul into dream. After all, Heavenly Court had suffered greatly from it. People learn from their mistakes, not to mention Fairy Ziwei from Heavenly Court. Lord Huangshi came prepared, lead soul into dream could not be used. Oh no, Ying Wuxia and the rest had a change of expression, they felt strong pressure in their hearts. They could not salvage the situation, they could only rely on Fang Yuan now. But where was Fang Yuan? Lord Huangshi considered this problem. He had thought that this immemorial year monkey was Fang Yuan's transformation to scare him, but after fighting, he realized it was a real immemorial year monkey. Since the battle started, Fang Yuan had not shown up. He who possessed reverse flow protection seal and had battle strength equal to Feng Juzhe was the biggest target that Lord Huangshi was wary of now. The longer Fang Yuan stayed hidden, the more alert he felt. Fang Yuan, you're still not coming out. If you wait any longer, Lord Huangshi was shocked. At this moment, a huge wave from the river of time swept towards him. Again, Lord Huangshi was stifled. This huge wave avoided the immemorial year monkey and came after him instead, time and again. His luck was too horrible. Rumble. The huge wave hit Lord Huangshi as he spat out blood once more, increasing the severity of his injuries. He could not dodge, not only because he was using this immortal killer move, but also because the wave slowed time when it approached. Even if he dodged the water, he could not dodge the sword chi and blade light that were incredibly fast. Lord Huangshi chose to resist the wave, to find a chance to capture the immemorial year monkey, Bai Ningbing, and the rest. Right now, I have the advantage, I don't believe that Fang Yuan will continue to watch. Lord Huangshi made up his mind. Swish swish swish, 3 waves swept towards Lord Huangshi. What, at me again? Instantly, Lord Huangshi stared with wide eyes, he wanted to scream. Normally speaking, the huge immemorial year monkey would have a higher chance of getting hit by the waves. But since the battle started, only Lord Huangshi had gotten hit by them. Their luck is too good. Not a single wave hit them. Wait, Lord Huangshi shook. Is this the effect of Fang Yuan's luck path methods? He thought of a possibility. HMPH. Even so, luck path cannot change the outcome of this battle. Luck path is suppressed in here to begin with. It is impossible for Fang Yuan to manipulate the waves here using luck path, only supreme time path methods can do it. I have the territorial advantage here. Lord Huangshi calmed down as he continued to suppress the immemorial year monkey, Bai Ningbing, and the rest, forcing Fang Yuan to show up. Lord Huangshi fell for it. This is like what sect leader predicted. Let's continue attacking, don't expose any flaws. Bai Ningbing and the rest had grim expressions, but they were conversing secretly. At the same time, on an island deep under the river. The image was moving in front of Fang Yuan, it was displaying the scene of Lord Huangshi fighting against the immemorial year monkey. This was a stone lotus island, the one on which spectral soul demon Venerable had obtained the red lotus true inheritance. Fang Yuan had arrived here long ago. The investigative killer move used by Fairy Ziwei on Fang Yuan had been removed already. As for Bai Ningbing and the rest, even though there was the self-cleansing immortal formation, they could not make it in time. If he brought them, Fang Yuan's traces would be exposed. Even inside the sovereign immortal aperture, they would be found out. It was like Fang Yuan using Qi Luck sensation to find out the locations of Ying Wuxie and the rest. They could not escape even if they went into the immortal aperture. Even though immortal apertures were small worlds isolated from the outside world, if there were clues inside the immortal aperture, deductions were still possible. Fang Yuan could do it, Fairy Ziwei could too, and so could Heaven's Will. As long as Heaven's Will was in the immortal aperture, the Heaven's Will in the 5 regions and 2 heavens would be able to sense Fang Yuan's location. Fang Yuan learned about this long ago. Even though it was a weakness, in Fang Yuan's perspective, he could make use of it. He used Ying Wuxie and the rest to deceive Fairy Ziwei so that Lord Huangshi underestimated Fang Yuan's actual distance traveled, even though it was nothing much. After getting Red Lotus, True Inheritance, Fang Yuan could use this advantage to its limit. That's right, Red Lotus, True Inheritance had the ability to manipulate the nearby river segment. In fact, this Blade River segment was purposely chosen by Red Lotus Demon Venerable. But when this ability was used, it would expend the Stone Lotus Island's foundation. After this battle, the tattered Stone Lotus Island would break apart entirely. Spectral Soul's Will, let me lend you a hand. Fang Yuan looked at Spectral Soul's Will, it was thin and had a hard time controlling the waves, thus he helped. Immediately, a huge amount of will gushed out and entered Spectral Soul's Will. Spectral Soul's Will became strengthened and growled. At the same time, a huge wave appeared on the battlefield. This. Lord Huangshi's eyeballs were almost popping out. The size of this huge wave was unprecedented, the blade light and sword chi inside had not shot out yet, but Lord Huangshi also felt a strong threat to his life. Lord Huangshi gritted his teeth, even though this colossal wave would hit him, it would also implicate the immemorial year monkey and force out Fang Yuan. I will see who can last longer. Lord Huangshi was thinking of that, when suddenly, a small part of the wave split to allow the immemorial year monkey to pass through before it headed towards Lord Huangshi entirely. What? Lord Huangshi was about to scream in anger. How shameless could it get? Chapter 1434. Huangshi's Death. Rumble. The enormous wave moved past the immemorial year monkey, encircling and attacking Lord Huangshi. Lord Huangshi's heart instantly chilled at that moment. He was a Heavenly Court GU Immortal, an elite among rank 8 experts. Right now, he finally realized it. Fang Yuan and these people can actually control this river segment. He was immensely shocked. This meant the scene of the immemorial year monkey being trapped in the Sword Blade River segment before was a trap. And he had entered headfirst into the trap, and was still unaware of it during the earlier fight. As far as Lord Huangshi was concerned, this was humiliating. But how is it possible? Fang Yuan might have inherited He Fan's true inheritance, but he still should not have the ability to control a segment of the River of Time. This was what Lady Ziwei had deduced. Shock gradually disappeared as suspicions rose in Lord Huangshi's mind. As the giant wave approached him, countless thoughts emerged in his mind. This might be the power of Red Lotus, true inheritance. Only a person like Red Lotus Demon Venerable could use methods to control a segment of the River of Time. Seeing that the giant towering wave was already before him, Lord Huangshi's expression turned resolute. Never mind, I shall let you all know my, Lord Huangshi's, true power. Ah! Lord Huangshi suddenly roared towards the sky. Countless GU worm auras emerged from his body, yellow lights were continuously shining on his body. His bald head shone and sparkled. The large yellow soil rock above his head enlarged and turned into a hill, suppressing the water of the River of Time. His aura turned deep and unfathomable. Under his gaze, the river wave gradually returned to its original state. At the same time, countless ripples of time jumped out of his body and moved towards Bai Ningbing and the rest, with seemingly slow speed but actually being really fast. The anger in his heart together with the dangerous situation caused Lord Huangshi to erupt with his full strength. Amazing! He activated at least 4 immortal killer moves in an instant. Fang Yuan's heart jolted at such a sight. Since Lord Huangshi could obtain Fairy Ziwei's trust to move in River of Time alone and attack Fang Yuan, he naturally had ample strength. Right now, he erupted with his full strength, immediately blocking the giant time river wave and ensuring his safety, while also sending strong attacks towards Bai Ningbing and the rest. Bai Ningbing and the rest turned pale. They were trapped in the yellow dust and were unable to free themselves. Even the immemorial year monkey struggled intensely, its growling showing its fear and panic. The might of the ripple of time was unpredictable, but its terror was well known. Even Feng Juzhe did not dare to easily come in contact with it, let alone Bai Ningbing and the rest. He is forcing me to appear. Fang Yuan mumbled as he looked towards spectral souls will beside him. He turned Bai Ningbing and the rest into bait. It would be an enormous loss to him if he sacrificed them at this moment. However, among them was the split soul, Ying Wuxie, whom Fang Yuan had intentionally left behind. He was guarding against spectral souls will just in case. Spectral souls will laughed loudly. Don't worry, Fang Yuan, this stone lotus island was personally constructed by Red Lotus Demon Venerable. Although Lord Huangshi resisted the time river wave, the wave also contains the peerless killer moves of both sword path and blade path. Look, this was the most powerful offensive killer move of Dao Zhulang back then. Its name is 99 Reincarnation Blades. Once it is activated, it continues on endlessly. If a layer of the blade light is broken, there is another layer. With a total of 9 layers of blade lights, every layer has the power to slaughter ghosts and deities. After the blade lights strike down, they will cycle back and attack again. A layer of blade light will attack for 9 times. Altogether, the 9 layers of blade light will attack for a total of 81 times. This move is extremely terrifying. Even Dao Zhulang only used it 3 times in his lifetime. Every time he used it, it would consume 100 years of his lifespan. And the move I am triggering right now is his pinnacle masterpiece used when fighting Shi Yuan. Shortly after Spectral Soul's Will's explanation, Fang Yuan saw 9 layers of blade light shooting out of the suppressed river of time wave. The blade lights were extremely radiant like fragments of the sun. It was so bright that even Fang Yuan, who was watching it through an image, felt piercing pain in his eyes and had to squint. Even outside of the battlefield he reacted like this. It was unimaginable what the immortals who were in the battlefield felt. Seeing these blade lights, Lord Huangshi's expression changed rapidly to that of horror and despair. He felt an intense threat to his life from these 9 layers of blade light. This was no joke. If Dao Zhulang was born in Central Continent, he could absolutely join Heavenly Court. He was a blade path legend who stood at the peak of Western Desert. He was an influential rank 8 figure. This attack was his greatest display of power. It was the killer move he had used in his deathmatch with Shi Yuan. Lord Huangshi was extremely terror-stricken. He did not care anymore about the river wave, the immemorial year monkey or Bai Ningbing. He shouted with all his strength as he used his hidden trump card to defend himself. Bam bam bam. Huge explosions sounded continuously as layers of blade light bombarded on his body. The dazzling blade lights continued to strike layer after layer, encircling and slashing at the pitiful Lord Huangshi, while interweaving together into a large ball of scorching white light. In the center of this light ball, Lord Huangshi was curled up in the large yellow rock above his head, defending with all his might. The blade light's bombardment lasted for a while before they gradually dissipated. The large rock around Lord Huangshi had disappeared. He looked extremely haggard with no color on his face. There were even large injuries on his body that spread throughout his chest and back. There was no blood flowing out from the injuries, but this instead signified the miserable situation, because the injuries were filled with blade path Dao marks which were continuously emitting blade chi that invaded Lord Huangshi's organs. Ha ha ha, look, he is finished. Spectral Souls will laughed heartily. Now, take this move. Spectral Souls will furrowed its brows while moving its hands. This move is Shi Yuan's main trump card. Haha, I don't believe you can survive this. Saying this, a powerful sword chi started to slowly rise from the giant river of time wave. This sword chi was deep and powerful, its depths unfathomable, and it carried an unmatchable might that could bury countless living beings. Lord Huangshi's pupils shrunk to pin size. Only one thought emerged in his mind, run. But he found he was locked on by this sword chi and was unable to budge from his position. This is Shi Yuan's signature killer move, Sword Burial Abyss. Damn it, damn it. Lord Huangshi's heart thumped wildly in panic. He had used up all his methods in resisting 9 reincarnation blades. He was in an extremely weak state right now with his defenses falling to almost zero. Am I going to perish here? Lord Huangshi felt a strong sense of death. Right at this time, spectral souls will called out in the Stone Lotus Island. Not good, the Stone Lotus Island cannot endure this burden. If we insist on killing Lord Huangshi, this Stone Lotus Island's foundation will be used up. If we let go of Huangshi, it can still last for a few years. Kill him. Fang Yuan's gaze shined eerily as he spat out these 2 words without any hesitation. Understood. Spectral souls will acknowledge and stopped speaking. Lord Huangshi struggled bitterly, but was unable to get rid of the shackles of the sword chi. His expression had turned savage and frightening as he roared. Who could have thought I, the Grand Huangshi, would actually die here? My sacrifice is not important, but I have let Heavenly Court's plan fail, letting this otherworldly demon Fang Yuan continue to roam free. I am not reconciled. I am not resigned. Lord Huangshi roared repeatedly, but his voice suddenly came to a stop. His life force completely dissipated. That sword chi was like a legendary beast in the dark, swallowing his life force completely. Lord Huangshi, a rank 8 time path Heavenly Court GU Immortal, was dead. Chapter 1435. Spectral Soul's True Inheritance. A moment later, Bai Ningbing and the rest brought Huangshi's corpse to Fang Yuan. Spectral souls will gazed at the corpse and sighed. This person was also an amazing character, a genius when he was young and became a famous expert as he grew. His name had spread throughout Central Continent and the 5 regions. Now, he has perished in this place. Fang Yuan and the rest were silent. Spectral souls will controlled this Stone Lotus Island and watched the past and present. It knew of many secrets. This was the power of Red Lotus, Time Path True Inheritance, able to gain information through the River of Time. When Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had obtained this inheritance back then, he had praised it as inconceivable, and acknowledged the superiority of Red Lotus Demon Venerable's time path methods. At rank 8, all GU Immortals would touch upon other paths. Rank 9 Venerables were even more so with extremely comprehensive abilities. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's own time path methods could compare to rank 8 time path GU Immortals, but he was far inferior when compared to Red Lotus Demon Venerable. Each rank 9 had their respective specializations. They had their own areas of expertise with their specific strengths. If Red Lotus Demon Venerable compared his soul path attainment with Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, it would be Red Lotus Demon Venerable's turn to be in great awe. Gurgle gurgle, the water of the River of Time gushed out from below Fang Yuan and the rest. The Stone Lotus Island was beginning to crumble. But only 1 or 2 areas were collapsing. The hole created was the size of a teacup. Spectral souls will stiffen before sighing. After a while, this Stone Lotus Island will be completely destroyed. We don't have much time left. Red Lotus Demon Venerable had arranged all his 7 true inheritances on Stone Lotus Islands, which were located at different areas of the River of Time. After Spectral Soul Demon Venerable obtained this Stone Lotus Island, he remodeled it to become the greatest information channel of Shadow Sect. Not only this, Shadow Sect were able to use the power of Red Lotus, True Inheritance multiple times, and recently, they had used it to let Spring Autumn Cicada activate smoothly as well as to help Ying Wuxie and Purple Mountain True Monarch. The Stone Lotus Island's foundation had already been close to drying up, and it had further exhausted all its power to kill the time path expert Huangshi in the battle earlier. It was crumbling apart now. Where there are gains, there are losses. Fang Yuan sighed. Although we lost this Stone Lotus Island, being able to cause the death of Lord Huangshi is a huge gain. This person has outstanding battle strength, and is like a fish in water inside the River of Time. If we had let go of this perfect opportunity, even if we lay in ambush again, we probably wouldn't have another chance to kill him. The group of immortals nodded in agreement to Fang Yuan's decision. In fact, even Spectral Soul's will was not an exception. It looked at Fang Yuan and nodded. In the battle of the Giant Dream Realm, Purple's choice at the last moment was correct. Fang Yuan, I have to admit you have already become the final chance my Shadow Sect has. The great task of saving our main body is yours now. Naturally, this will depend on your decision. Even if you are bent on eliminating our main body, we won't blame you. All of the GU Immortals present were visibly moved at these words. Ying Wuxia's expression changed. He opened his mouth several times, but was not able to let out any words. Who could have thought of this situation? Right now, between Shadow Sect and Fang Yuan held the complete initiative. He was indeed the last hope of Shadow Sect. even if it was presumed they invaded Heavenly Court in the future, whether he saved Spectral Soul's main body or not was completely up to Fang Yuan. The words of Spectral Soul's will had the feeling of helplessness and a last resort. It was precisely because he knew the most information, he had a clear understanding of the situation. When Fang Yuan entered Red Lotus, true inheritance, Spectral Soul's will created no obstructions or difficulties and even completely coordinated with Fang Yuan when killing Lord Huangshi. Fang Yuan glanced at the Immortals before replying to Spectral Soul's will, "You can rest assured. Heavenly Court is an enormous force, you and I are natural allies. I will definitely help if I can." Spectral Soul's will nodded, "I believe you." Shortly, he smiled, "We are not allies, but a collective force. You are currently the leader of Shadow Sect, appointed by Purple, and have received the approval of the various split souls. Even if you meet our main body in the future, he will also definitely agree. Because we are him, our decision is his decision. Alright, I am going to pass on all my main body's soul path true inheritance along with other things to you." Fang Yuan nodded and used a wisdom path method to send out a lump of self-will. The large sphere-like self-will charged at Spectral Soul's will. Spectral Soul's will did not evade, allowing the self-will to merge with it. Information exchange between wills was extremely fast, and after a few breaths of time, Fang Yuan's self-will returned and entered Fang Yuan's mind. Instantly, an unimaginable amount of information assaulted Fang Yuan's mind. Fang Yuan closed his eyes, accepting all the information in an orderly way. He was a wisdom path grandmaster who could not be compared to ordinary GU immortals. Right now, his expression was calm. Among all the information, the most valuable was no doubt Spectral Soul's true inheritance. This was the most comprehensive cultivation content created by Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Fang Yuan's mind shook with just a slight look at some of its contents, inwardly praising Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, who created this true inheritance. Undoubtedly, in the whole world and the long history of humans, no, since time immemorial, this was one of the most valuable true inheritances. Since ancient times until now, only 10 Venerables had appeared in this world. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable was one of them. This true inheritance of Spectral Soul that Fang Yuan obtained was comprehensive. As long as he cultivated according to it, he could approach the heights that Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had once reached. Speaking of which, Fang Yuan had connections to quite a few Venerables. Spring Autumn Cicada was the earliest to end up in Fang Yuan's hands. It was the most crucial key to Red Lotus, true inheritances, but until now, Fang Yuan had only inherited one of the 7 true inheritances of Red Lotus. Moreover, although the inner contents were complete, Red Lotus, true meaning had already been absorbed by Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had 3 true inheritances. Fang Yuan had obtained the essence of Self-Luck True Inheritance from Langya Sect, and some contents of All Living Beings Luck from 88 True Yang Building and Ma Hong Yun, but it was not as much as the rumor said. Of Thieving Heaven's true inheritances, Fang Yuan had only inherited Ghostly Concealment, while Divine Concealment was taken by Zhao Lian Yun. To think that the most complete venerable true inheritance that I obtained was Spectral Soul's true inheritance originating from my former great enemy. Unfortunately, my soul path attainment is not enough, and cultivating soul path would require a huge amount of time, energy and resources. Among these, soul path has the most terrifying requirement for resources. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had once massacred countless living beings for his cultivation. If I were to repeat his way, I would also need to slaughter countless living beings, otherwise I simply would not be able to satisfy the resource requirements for my soul path cultivation. Second to Spectral Soul's true inheritance was Red Lotus, true inheritance. Although the true meaning of Red Lotus in this Stone Lotus Island was already absorbed by Spectral Soul to raise his time path attainment, its true inheritance contents were handed down. The most important contents of this inheritance were the Immortal GU recipes of Spring Autumn Cicada. Not just rank 6 Immortal GU recipes, there were recipes of rank 7, rank 8 and even rank 9. This meant Fang Yuan now had the entire set of Immortal GU recipes for Spring Autumn Cicada from rank 6 to rank 9. There was a huge amount of content in this set of Immortal GU recipes, amounting to several hundreds of thousands of words. Merely the rank 6 Spring Autumn Cicada Immortal GU recipes totaled to 17 or 18. The recipe Fang Yuan had obtained in his first life of 500 years was only one of them. Rank 7 Immortal GU recipes were even more numerous, reaching 86. Rank 8 Immortal GU recipes totaled to 43. And there were 3 rank 9 Immortal GU recipes. An additional Immortal GU recipe meant a new method to refine Spring Autumn Cicada. As far as Fang Yuan was concerned, this would definitely be a huge help. Later on, when he refines Spring-Autumn Cicada, he would not only have many more choices, but could also be more flexible in his methods. To think Red Lotus Demon Venerable had researched so deeply about Spring-Autumn Cicada. So it is true that Spring-Autumn Cicada was Red Lotus Demon Venerable's vital immortal GU. Fang Yuan naturally wanted to advance Spring-Autumn Cicada. He was deeply aware of Spring-Autumn Cicada's power, and would absolutely not let go of this trump card that could overturn the situation. Besides Spectral Soul's true inheritance and Red Lotus, true inheritance, there were also large numbers of other true inheritances. Some of these inheritances were incomplete, while some were perfectly intact. This was the collection of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable when he was alive, and the continual gathering by Shadow Sect throughout 100,000 years. Now, all of these belonged to Fang Yuan. Although Purple Mountain True Monarch's legacy was also abundant, he was only one of the split souls in the end. The content he grasped was not even 1/100th of the total amount here. Especially because there was also the Rule Path True Inheritance of Limitless Demon Venerable, and a Formation Path True Inheritance of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable, which were not in Purple Mountain True Monarch's inheritance. The value of all these contents was so high that it could not be estimated. As long as Fang Yuan had sufficient time and resources, Fang Yuan was confident he could use these contents to create an organization that was not weaker than Heavenly Court. Fang Yuan's gains had reached an unimaginable amount such that even he himself was shaken. The frightening advantage of being the leader of Shadow Sect had finally been shown. Spectral Souls will spoke once again. Sect leader Fang Yuan, you have now completely inherited Shadow Sect. Unfortunately, although there are a lot of true inheritances, you would need an unimaginable amount of time, energy and resources to cultivate them. And right now, what we lack the most is time, and there is also a huge scarcity of resources. Our main body had once successfully defied heaven, hiding from Heavenly Court, and delaying the Great Era by nearly 500 years. But now, our main body has failed, everything has returned to its original path. Approximately 10 years later, the Great Era will completely descend, the 5 regions will merge, which will definitely result in the largest chaotic war in history. And among the 5 regions, Central Continent's foundation is the deepest with the most amount of GU Masters and GU Immortals. Furthermore, they also have a unified leader, Heavenly Court. This is something none of the other 4 regions have. Whether it be Eastern Sea, Western Desert, Southern Border or Northern Plains, they are all controlled by independent super forces and are disunited. Northern Plains does have longevity heaven, so their situation will be slightly better, but when compared to Central Continent's Heavenly Court, their influence in the whole region is significantly lacking. And the most terrifying thing about Heavenly Court is their control of rank 9 Fate Immortal GU. This GU has extremely terrifying might, the reason why Star Constellation Immortal Venerable was able to make arrangements that could resist 3 Demon Venerables after her death was mostly because of the power of this GU. The 3 great Demon Venerables are all within the confines of fate, this was already decided upon their birth and cannot be changed. Only an otherworldly demon is not restrained by the shackles of Fate Immortal GU. Fang Yuan, you are a complete otherworldly demon, and thus the greatest hope in destroying Fate Immortal GU. In fact, you are the inheritor that Red Lotus Demon Venerable had been most anticipating. 10 years, you only have 10 years. Fang Yuan, don't let Heavenly Court restore Fate Immortal GU. Otherwise, Heavenly Court will become invincible, even if the 4 regions attack it together, they will not be able to bring it down. If that happens, there will be no hope of invading Heavenly Court and rescuing our main body. You don't have much time, Fang Yuan. Chapter 1436, Return. Stone Lotus Island. The voice of Spectral Souls will started to become choppy as his whole body turned increasingly translucent. Fang Yuan wanted to help and replenish it, but was stopped. Let me disappear, I am Spectral Soul's will, my main body is being suppressed by Heavenly Court, I will be found out by Heavenly Court sooner or later. As for the split souls, there is no need to worry about them within a short period of time. The Stone Lotus Island is no more, my mission has also been finished. Now, while I still have some strength left, let me speed up time for you and make one last contribution. Fang Yuan was silent, before slowly nodding, all right. After he agreed, he took out the self-cleansing Immortal GU formation. Shortly afterwards, Bai Ningbing and the rest entered the Immortal formation. The Immortal GU formation started operating while letting out deafening rumbling noises. Spectral Souls will smiled as the Stone Lotus Island let out its final frail afterglow. Lord Huangshi is dead. When this news was transmitted, Feng Juzhe and the 2 rank 8 GU Immortals from Heavenly Court felt an intense shock. Shortly afterwards, more detailed information was transmitted to them by Fairy Ziwei. Fang Yuan lost the upper extreme heavenly eagle, but has actually gotten control of an immemorial year monkey. That Red Lotus true inheritance is truly beyond belief, it can actually control a segment of the river of time. If it were not for the Stone Lotus Island, even if Fang Yuan had strength that rivaled rank 8 along with the protection of the immemorial year monkey, he would not be able to take Lord Huangshi's life. Sigh. Right now, the three immortals had already gotten past the defense line of Dream Realms and arrived in front of the tributary of the River of Time. The Dream Realms which Fang Yuan had meticulously arranged, because of their own circulation, showed a gap, letting the three immortals easily pass by it without wasting any energy. Dream Realms could obstruct enemies for some time, but they could not be relied on for a long time. Especially when these Dream Realms were already infiltrated by Heaven's will. Their circulation would clearly favor Heavenly Court. This was also the reason why Fang Yuan did not use the Dream Realm defense line to make a last-ditch struggle when escaping earlier. The three immortals' expressions turned unsightly upon hearing the news of Lord Huangshi's death. According to their original plan, Lord Huangshi would make a move inside the River of Time, destroying Red Lotus, True Inheritance, and forcing out Fang Yuan and the rest. Then with the three immortals outside, they would encircle and eliminate Fang Yuan and the remaining Shadow Sect members. But now, their strongest member, Lord Huangshi, was instead the first to fall. This caused the situation of Feng Juzhe and the others to become rather awkward. Should they wait or not? If they continue waiting, would Fang Yuan and the rest eventually be forced to appear in front of them? The three immortals hesitated. They had come well prepared, but who could have expected their morale to receive a strike before they even fought? Continue waiting. Fairy Ziwei sent them new instructions. I have already deduced that in the information Fang Yuan has, only this tributary of the River of Time is remaining. Lord Huangshi was sacrificed, but his sacrifice has provided us a lot of valuable information regarding the ins and outs of Fang Yuan and the other Shadow Sect members. Especially regarding Red Lotus, True Inheritance, our Heavenly Court is now no longer completely in the dark about it. Fang Yuan and the others cannot continue to hide in Red Lotus, True Inheritance. They must come out eventually. Fairy Ziwei's tone was resolute, causing the fighting spirit of Feng Juzhe and the two immortals to soar. Fairy Ziwei was one of the few Wisdom Path great experts in the current 5 regions, her deduction absolutely would not err. Then we shall continue to wait. Damned otherworldly demon, a calamity to all living beings, I will definitely take your life this time. I will tear off your skin, pull out your tendons, and grind your bones till they turn to dust. The two Heavenly Court GU immortals were furious, while Feng Juzhe's expression was calm as he gazed at the turbulent tributary of the River of Time in silence. However, a day passed, 2 days passed, soon, 5, 6 days passed. But the tributary of the River of Time showed no commotion. 10 days went by, half a month passed, but the waiting immortals did not even see a trace of Fang Yuan. However, they were not shaken. They were either current or future Heavenly Court GU immortals. How could such people lack patience? Especially Feng Juzhe, who had battled Fang Yuan a few times and knew of his terrifying growth rate. He had already marked Fang Yuan as a great threat to the world. He had already made up his mind to eliminate Fang Yuan as early as possible, or else he would not be at ease. Where is Fang Yuan? Are they still on the Stone Lotus Island? Why do I feel a sense of unease? In Heavenly Court, Fairy Ziwei, however, was starting to feel puzzled. Not long after Lord Huangshi's sacrifice, she had completely lost the information of Fang Yuan and the rest. The Shadow Sect members had used the self-cleansing Immortal GU formation along with the power of Red Lotus, True Inheritance to speed up time. They had completely gotten rid of the investigative killer move on them. Although there was no evidence to prove Fang Yuan and the others had escaped from the River of Time, Fairy Ziwei vaguely sensed something wrong. This attracted Fairy Ziwei's attention. Wisdom Path GU immortals were not just about intellect. Wisdom Path cultivation emphasized on 3 main points: thoughts, wills and emotions. Among them, emotions and feelings were also specialty methods of Wisdom Path GU immortals. Thus, the unease in Fairy Ziwei's heart had not just appeared out of nowhere, it was a premonition. In the worst-case scenario, Fang Yuan has already escaped the River of Time. But Feng Juzhe and the group had already blocked the entrance, so how did he succeed in escaping? Did he gain some extremely powerful concealment method from Red Lotus, True Inheritance? Or did he use another tributary of the River of Time? Fairy Ziwei suddenly had a flash of inspiration. The 2 tributaries of the River of Time that Fang Yuan had access to were already exposed. This information was definite because its source was Spectral Soul's main body. Spectral Soul's main body had been suppressed by Duke Long, Heavenly Court naturally would not let him go and had conducted soul searching on him. However, Spectral Soul was a peak expert of soul path. Even if there was only a tiny fraction of his soul remaining, how could he be easily soul searched by ordinary methods? Heavenly Court had exhausted all their means to extract information, but Spectral Soul's main body was still struggling stubbornly, and as such, they had not obtained much information. If Fang Yuan did not use this tributary of the River of Time, then which exit did he choose? Tributaries of the River of Time were exits. Feng Juzhe and the group were blocking the final exit. Even if Fang Yuan did not investigate it, he would have already expected this situation and might have taken the risk to charge through another tributary of the River of Time. Because rather than fighting with the sufficiently prepared Heavenly Court forces, it might be better to break through other, unaware forces. And in Western Desert, there are altogether 3 forces who have control over a tributary of the River of Time. First is Tian Clan. This clan mainly cultivates Wood Path and Earth Path, and are mainly renowned for their immortal aperture management, and even have good reputation in the other 4 regions. In the current Western Desert GU Immortal world, it is one of the super forces with the most solid foundations. Second is Gong Clan. Gong Clan GU Immortals are proficient in long-range fighting methods, especially their curse-related killer moves, which are imperceptible and can silently take their enemy's life even when they are separated by an enormous range. Their most famous immortal killer move, Bao Shadow Cup, had terrorized the whole of Western Desert's GU Immortal world. They only need a trace of the target's shadow, after which, they can activate the killer move and can kill their target no matter how far apart the distance. Third is Tang Clan. Tang Clan is a declining clan, its strength is mid-lower tier among Western Desert's super forces. But they still have an immortal GU house and has control over a tributary of the River of Time, which is right by their headquarters. With their powerful defensive strength, other forces cannot easily seize it. If Fang Yuan were to forcibly charge through, which clan would he choose? If I consider this, along with no movement from the 3 clans, Fang Yuan might still be in River of Time. Fairy Ziwei was in deep contemplation. She was deeply aware of the situation of Western Desert's GU Immortal world. The power of Heavenly Court's information gathering was clear from this. Tang Clan, the remnant afterglow of an immortal killer move successively condensed on Fang Yuan and the rest. This move will provide us 3 months of time. Not only can it defend against the deductions of GU Immortals, it can also avert the attention of Heaven's will. Fang Yuan slowly opened his eyes, which shined briefly with joy. Other than Fang Yuan, there was also Bai Ningbing, He Lu Lan, Ying Wuxie, Black Tigress and Fairy Miao Yin. No one was missing. Fairy Ziwei's conjecture was only half correct. Fang Yuan indeed had no plans to engage in a desperate battle with Heavenly Court's forces, and had given up on that tributary of the River of Time. But Fang Yuan's group had already left the River of Time 10 days ago, returning to Western Desert. Let's go. It is time to leave Western Desert. Fang Yuan moved forward while the other immortals followed closely behind. They were deep below the ground, the group kept on moving until they reached the surface. 2 Western Desert GU immortals were already waiting for them at the entrance. Tang Fangming Tang Lan Ke pays respects to Shadow Sect leader. The 2 GU immortals looked young, and after seeing Fang Yuan, they elegantly bowed. Fang Yuan laughed. I have troubled you too, these are the immortal GU I borrowed from your esteemed clan. Fang Yuan waved his hand. Several immortal GU slowly flew into Tang Fangming's hand. Tang Fangming carefully examined and after determining there was no damage to the immortal GU, he cautiously stored them into his immortal aperture. He said with some embarrassment, please forgive my actions, I borrowed these GU from the clan personally, this is a huge responsibility, I have no choice but to be more careful. Fang Yuan smiled, Tang Fangming's words had deep meaning. After all, Tang Clan was a righteous path force but was cooperating with the demonic path's Shadow Sect. If this was exposed, they would be denounced and there would be immense trouble. But factions did not represent anything, benefits were the only things that everyone chased after. Tang Clan was weak, the external pressure on them was enormous. Such an environment made almost all the Tang Clan GU immortals possess the spirit of going all out, taking risks, bearing hardships, and enduring patiently. Tang Clan's grand strategy was to develop Dream Path. In Fang Yuan's first life of 500 years, Tang Clan had moved to the top by exploiting dream realms. During the 5 regions' chaotic war, they had made countless achievements, their strength rose explosively, and became the #1 righteous path force of Western Desert in one leap. Fang Yuan had thus contacted Tang Clan, to use Shadow Sect's research results in Dream Path in exchange for Tang Clan opening up their tributary of the River of Time, so that there was a final retreat path for him. Moreover, he was willing to cooperate with Tang clan in the future, to jointly research the Dream Realm, and also obtain their financial help to produce Guts Gu. Such enormous benefits moved all the Tang clansmen. The support of Guts Gu, Fang Yuan's unraveled dream and Ying Wuxia's lead soul into dream, they were all greatly desired by Tang clan's Gu immortals. Naturally, the latter two would absolutely not be easy for Tang clan to obtain. Chapter 1437. This man is going against heaven. Western Desert. Blazing sunlight shone down upon all lifeforms. The blue sky was cloudless, distorting hot air was rising up from the golden desert. Farewell. Fang Yuan's group bid farewell to the two Tang clan Gu immortals. Shadow sect friends, please take care. Tang Lanke smiled. She was a rank 7-time path Gu immortal, and was in charge of the tributary of the River of Time. She was the main person who helped Fang Yuan come out of Tang clan's tributary of the River of Time. Fang Yuan smiled. You have already accompanied us for 10,000 li, there is no need to send us off anymore. Tang Lanke's smile became even brighter, but she was inwardly laughing bitterly. Their cooperation with Fang Yuan was not just about the Guts Gu trade, but also Shadow Sect's various research gains in Dream Path. But ever since Fang Yuan returned to Western Desert, he did not mention anything about this. He seemed to have completely forgotten about it. Although both sides had formed an alliance agreement and were restrained by it, they had yet to truly cooperate. Even Tang clan was starting to feel somewhat anxious. Tang Fangming, who had been silent the entire time, suddenly spoke, inquiring directly, Shadow Sect leader and friends, I wonder how will we collaborate from now? Fang Yuan glanced at Tang Fangming, an admiring expression flashing past his eyes. I am very interested in thieving Heaven's Dream Realm, we can deepen our collaboration in this. But right now, we are being chased by several rank 8 Gu immortals of Heavenly Court, it is not a good time to collaborate, we can only look forward to it in the future. Rest assured, we have formed an alliance agreement, haven't we? Of course, if your clan truly insists, we can remain here. It is just that our camps are different and with Heavenly Court's chase, there is huge pressure on us. Tang Fangming and Tang Lanke looked at each other, both seeing bitterness in each other's eyes. Fang Yuan's words meant that if they want to collaborate and obtain Dream Path research gains, then they have to help resist the pursuing forces of Heavenly Court. Moreover, when the matter of Tang clan colluding with the demonic path is exposed, they will have to bear the consequences of their righteous path reputation going down the drain. Tang clan could not bear this consequence. They could not take a hard approach as well. Because Fang Yuan was sufficiently strong, such that he had no fear of Tang clan, who possessed Immortal Gu house. Then I can only wish you a safe journey. Tang Fangming bowed slightly. Okay, farewell. Fang Yuan nodded, leaving with an indifferent expression, while the other immortals followed behind him. Tang Fangming and Tang Lanke stood on the sand dune, watching Fang Yuan and the rest leave until they turned into black dots in the horizon. Little Ming, you are letting them go like this. Tang Lanke frowned. Tang Fangming glanced at Tang Lanke calmly. I am not letting them go, it is that our Tang clan cannot force them to stay. Tang Lanke was silent for a long while before sighing. Sigh, I am uneasy about this, I don't know if this alliance is beneficial or harmful to our clan. Tang Fangming, I only know that all things have advantages and disadvantages. Often, the greater the risks, the greater the profits. What's more, the decision of collaborating with Shadow Sect was agreed upon by several supreme elders. Tang Lanke immediately showed a serious expression. This has no relation to the clan, only you and I contacted Shadow Sect. If there is a mishap, only we will bear the responsibility. Tang Fangming chuckled, but was inwardly rolling his eyes. Tang clan threw him and Tang Lanke out as scapegoats to maintain their righteous path identity. They would be the cover to hide the clan's disgrace if this matter was exposed in the future. This was a righteous path's trick, and Tang Fangming was well aware of it. What kind of person is Fang Yuan? He had long seen through Tang clan's trick. The tributary of the River of Time is near the clan's headquarters, and they stayed for 10 days, but even the first supreme elder did not show up. How could there be sincerity in such a collaboration? Since we are cooperating, we should make up our minds, how can we achieve anything by being so hesitant? Tang Fangming was thinking to himself, when Tang Lanke asked, what do you think of Fang Yuan? He said he was being chased by several rank 8 Gu immortals of Heavenly Court, could he be exaggerating? Tang Fangming knew Tang Lanke's question had deep meaning, his best choice would be to keep silent. If he said bad things about Fang Yuan, Tang Lanke would report to the clan that Tang Fangming was filled with ill feelings towards Shadow Sect and made them unhappy, she could use this to push the responsibility of this matter to him. If he said good words about Fang Yuan, Tang Lanke would collect this evidence. In case the matter were to be exposed in the future, Tang clan would sacrifice them to protect itself. Tang Lanke could then present the evidence to say that she had been enticed by a certain Gu immortal of the clan, and lighten her punishment. Tang Fangming was not a fool, he might not have been used to it when he had just returned to the clan. But now, he was an expert in the righteous path's tricks. However, at this moment, as Tang Fangming gazed at Fang Yuan's figure disappearing gradually in the horizons, he had a complex feeling. He sighed and bluntly said his innermost thoughts, although I haven't seen his splendor in battle, through these several days of contact, I am certain his reputation is not false. Fang Yuan is a legend of this generation, his elegant demeanor and grand ambition fill people with admiration. He is a man who is going against heaven. Just based on this, we will not be able to compare to him. A trace of joy flashed past Tang Lanke's eyes, she kept silent upon hearing Tang Fangming's words. Fang Yuan was also thinking about Tang Fangming as he flew on his way. In his 500 years of memories, this Tang Fangming was a legendary figure of Western Desert. His status was almost equal to Northern Plains Ma Hongyun of that time. Tang Fangming had been stripped of his status and mercilessly abandoned by Tang clan's Gu master higher-ups when he was young. He and his sister, Tang Miao, led a vagrant life, suffering much hardship. But due to a fortuitous encounter, he cultivated to Gu immortal level, while his sister Tang Miao became a rank 5 peak stage Gu master. To recruit a Gu immortal, Tang clan's multiple supreme elders sacrificed the Gu master higher-ups of the clan in exchange for the return of Tang Fangming. The later events proved that Tang clan's supreme elders made a wise decision. After Tang Fangming returned to the clan, not only did he help his sister to become a Gu immortal, he also actively explored Thieving Heaven's dream realm. He had an extraordinary talent and aptitude in dream realm exploration. He started to create dream path Gu worms, making huge contributions to the rise of the whole of Tang clan. During the 5 regions' chaotic war, dream realms manifested everywhere, dream path flourished, and Tang clan seized this opportunity to rise to become Western Desert's strongest superforce. It was mighty and powerful, even throughout the 5 regions, it was a peak-level superforce. As Tang clan's prestige spread in Western Desert, there were many who started to call Western Desert's Gu immortal world to be in Tang clan's era. And in Tang clan, the most eye-catching and charismatic legend was the Gu immortal who turned to cultivating dream path, Tang Fangming. Currently, Ma Hongyun has already died in my hands, but with the coming collaboration, Tang Fangming will grow up even faster. The comparison and contrast between the two is truly quite amazing. But according to the true path set by fate, Ma Hongyun was meant to die. A dark light flashed past Fang Yuan's eyes as he thought of this. On the Stone Lotus Island, what Fang Yuan obtained was not only true inheritances and Spectral Soul's rank 9 immortal essence, but also some valuable information Spectral Soul's will had deduced with the help of Red Lotus, true inheritance. In Fang Yuan's first life, Shadow Sect had succeeded in defying heaven, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had resurrected, and also succeeded in infiltrating Heavenly Court. Later, the Great Era descended and the 5 regions' chaotic war started. Shadow Sect's influence had expanded into the 5 regions and 2 heavens, manipulating everything in the dark. Shadow Sect had interfered multiple times to save Ma Hongyun, before he finally became a symbolic character of the Northern Plains Gu immortal world, in order to resist Heavenly Court. And Tang clan was also a target for Shadow Sect to support secretly. That's right, in Fang Yuan's first life too, Tang clan had collaborated with Shadow Sect. The reason Tang clan could create Tang clan's era was because Shadow Sect was supporting it from behind the scenes to fight against Central Continent's Heavenly Court. Fang Yuan chose to collaborate with Tang clan mainly because of this. In Western Desert, Tang clan was not the only one who possessed a tributary of the River of Time. But compared to the other 2 super forces, Tang clan had more basis for sincere collaboration. The later events proved Fang Yuan's choice was a success. Borrowing Tang clan's tributary of the River of Time, Fang Yuan escaped River of Time, leaving Feng Juji's group back at the original spot as they waited fruitlessly. But, in my first life, even though Shadow Sect's grand plan succeeded and Spectral Soul revived, he seemed to have been unable to regain the status of a Venerable. Moreover, Shadow Sect had retained its strength but Spectral Soul still chose to fight Heavenly Court in the dark, while supporting other forces. This proved Heavenly Court's strength was difficult for even Spectral Soul to confront head-on at that time. In this life, Spectral Soul's grand plan failed because of me, Spectral Soul's main body was even captured, Shadow Sect is in rough condition, and the only ones remaining are us. This situation is many times worse than in my first life. Now, I also might have to follow Spectral Soul's strategy, keeping in hiding while supporting several forces like Tang Clan to create trouble for Heavenly Court. But what do I do against Fate Gu? Fang Yuan's brows unavoidably furrowed at this issue. In his first life, Fate Gu was not restored successfully. Because Zombie Alliance still existed, and Spectral Soul, the one fated to die long ago, had revived. Not only did he revive, he hid from Heavenly Court, manipulating and brewing countless schemes in secret, obstructing Heavenly Court in restoring Fate Gu. But it was different now. The situation facing Fang Yuan was much worse. Spectral Soul's main body was captured and Zombie Alliance was gone. Many fate-defying existences were already eliminated, which made the restoration of Fate Gu much easier. Fate Immortal Gu was the executioner's blade hanging above Fang Yuan's head. Spectral Soul's will had deeply reminded Fang Yuan to be careful of Fate Immortal Gu. If it was really restored completely, the result would be disastrous. Fang Yuan firmly engraved this warning in his mind, but he could not imagine or think of ways to go about destroying Fate Immortal Gu. Could he surrender if he could not win? As far as Shadow Sect was concerned, they did not have this option at all. And it was even more so for Fang Yuan. In my first life, I was constantly on the go, wandering, enduring hardships, being schemed against, tormented and suppressed by Heaven's will. I already have no route to retreat. Heaven's will chose me as its tool, but when I did not destroy Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu and used it on myself, I went on the path to go against Heaven. There is no other option left. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan looked at the sky. The boundless heavens and the vast will of Heaven. Compared to them, he was so insignificant. Going against Heaven. Interesting. Fang Yuan smiled silently. Chapter 1438. Heavenly Court shocks the 5 regions. Central Continent, Heavenly Court. Halls made of white jade stood majestically in the clouds, while the majestic silver sky shone brightly and grandly. Among these halls was a pitch-black hall that was very conspicuous. 3 large words were carved on the plaque of the door: Soul Suppression Hall. The aura emanating from this hall exposed its extraordinariness. Undoubtedly, this was a rank 8 Immortal Gu house. At the center of this hall were 5 enormous pillars. Purple gold chains were connected around the scarlet pillars to form a giant web. And a remnant soul was shackled at the center of this giant web. It was Spectral Soul's main body. Fairy Ziwei stood expressionlessly at the edge of the 5 pillars. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, you were a rank 9 Gu Venerable when alive. You did not accept your death and acted in defiance against Heaven. Your current outcome is entirely the negative consequence of your own actions. Do you admit your wrongdoing? Her voice was crystal clear as it resonated in the large hall. On the contrary, the remnant soul remained silent, not even letting out a grunt. Fairy Ziwei continued. In the past, you had rampaged around the whole world, slaughtering countless beings to satisfy your desires and attain your personal achievements. Now, you have become a prisoner. Are you still not going to repent and strive for the well-being of all lifeforms to atone for your crimes? The remnant soul was still silent. Fairy Ziwei sighed, activating Soul Suppression Hall. Immediately, the vast auras of Gu worms surged like rolling tides, and like lava, the 5 giant pillars started radiating light and heat. The giant web formed by countless purple gold chains subsequently shone with a dazzling and bewitching light. Spectral Soul's main body began to tremble, and as time passed, his trembling grew more intense. When the trembling reached a certain degree, bits of information was extracted, which followed the countless purple gold chains into Soul Suppression Hall. Images started to emerge on the surface of the giant pillars, playing out some scenes of Spectral Soul's life back in the day. There were scenes of his cultivation, his valor in battles, conversations with others, and so on. The whole soul search lasted for 15 minutes before it slowly stopped. Fairy Ziwei, however, was not pleased. The extracted information was only superficial, and there was almost no truly valuable information. Her gaze turned grim as she sneered. O Spectral Soul, since ancient times it has always been winners who take all. What is the point of doing this? You already have no hope. Are you still hoping someone will attack Heavenly Court and save you? Hee. What can you achieve by putting up this resistance? Your outcome is set and it cannot be changed. Spectral Soul was still silent, like a piece of steel or rock. Fairy Ziwei snorted, turning around and leaving. Boom! The large door of Soul Suppression Hall closed heavily behind her. Looking at the empty Heavenly Court and the silent halls, Fairy Ziwei's brows furrowed slightly. Over these days, the uneasy feeling in her had become increasingly intense. And over on Feng Juji's end, they still had not found any traces of Fang Yuan's group. Not only this, in the information that Heavenly Court gathered regarding Western Desert, there was no news of anyone coming out of a tributary of the River of Time. Everything was peaceful. However, Fairy Ziwei sensed something wrong from this peace. Unfortunately, Spectral Soul is still putting up a resistance even after falling to this state. The information extracted from him is of no help in deducing Fang Yuan's tracks. He was after all a rank 9 Venerable, a peak legendary expert of soul path. Even if this is just a trace of his soul, it is actually able to resist the search of Soul Suppression Hall. Truly amazing. If it were my remnant soul, not to speak of an immortal GU house, it won't be able to resist even a rank 6 immortal GU. Forget it. Even if Spectral Soul won't cooperate, Soul Suppression Hall can still continue to soul search, it is just that the progress is rather slow. But given some time, there will be a day when all the information will be extracted from Spectral Soul. As for now, Fairy Ziwei gazed at the sky, her lips curling upwards as she revealed an extremely beautiful smile. It is time for the world to know of Heavenly Court's might. Heavenly Court, which had been keeping silent for several months after the Battle of Dream Realm, suddenly revealed astonishingly terrifying news. The former spectral soul demon, Venerable left with merely a remnant soul, was captured by Heavenly Court. His heaven-defying scheme was ruined by Heavenly Court's GU Immortals. The moment this news spread, the whole GU Immortal world went into an uproar. Countless GU Immortals were shaken. Rank 9 Venerables were invincible existences who ruled an era. No one could have imagined Heavenly Court to be able to capture a rank 9 Venerable. Moreover, it was Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, who had the most murderous nature among all the Venerables. Despite it being only a remnant soul, it was still enough to shake the world. Naturally, there were voices who questioned the authenticity of this news, but they soon vanished. Heavenly Court had naturally made sufficient preparation, listing out all kinds of evidence, spanning from Zombie Alliance, Shadow Sect as well as the Battle of Yitian Mountain, the Battle of the Super Dream Realm, and so on. The ironclad evidence completely convinced the people. In an instant, the whole world's attention was gathered on Heavenly Court. The past glory of Heavenly Court was dug up by countless GU Immortals. It was the #1 force in the GU Immortal world, the strongest force since the start. It was founded by primordial origin Immortal Venerable, and was inherited by multiple Immortal Venerables later on, standing tall throughout countless generations. Even when 3 Demon Venerables invaded it, they had to leave without success. It was mysterious, it was powerful, it stood high above, it was unfathomable. This was Heavenly Court, Northern Plains, Longevity Heaven. South Desolation Immortal was lying on a sickbed, his aged face showing his final remaining bit of vitality. Sigh, who could have thought that the Grand Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's reputation to be lost after death, actually ending up in Heavenly Court's hands. South Desolation Immortal heaved a deep sigh. Yao Huang, who was standing beside the sickbed, comforted, Lord South Desolation, you should focus on recuperating and resting. South Desolation Immortal chuckled. It doesn't matter, I only have a few days remaining. Remember the things I instructed you, you will take the position of South Desolation after my death. Yes, Lord. South Desolation Immortal showed some worry. Times are changing, the 5 regions are descending into an unprecedented state. I have already sensed the surging waves of time, and it is not an ordinary wave, it is a tsunami that far surpasses even the Venerable's eras. Even my Longevity Heaven will be swallowed by this tsunami if we take a wrong step. Heavenly Court is our biggest enemy, be careful. Lord, this junior has firmly engraved your words in mind. Southern Border, Corpse Emperor Yu Dingtian. This was an extremely peculiar mountain peak. In ancient times, a rank 8 Southern Border GU Immortal turned into an immortal zombie, and fought against allied attacks of super forces in this peak, finally dying here. As time passed, on the mangled corpse of this rank 8 immortal zombie, due to the nourishment of the natural essence from the river, along with the aquatic plants in the river that rooted themselves, this place turned into a corpse mountain. Corpse Emperor Yu Dingtian was as high as several hundreds of meters, it was close to the whirlpool in the intersection of Red Dragon River and Yellow Dragon River where natural essence was extremely dense, and as such its resource productivity was huge and it by itself was a place of strategical importance. Right now, Wu Yong was standing at the peak of Corpse Emperor Yu Dingtian, gazing at the vast whirlpool in the intersection of Red Dragon River and Yellow Dragon River. Behind him was a Wu Clan GU Immortal, Wu Zhen. Wu Zhen gazed at Wu Yong's back, not in the least concealing the admiration in his heart. This Corpse Emperor Yu Dingtian originally belonged to Wu Clan, but not long ago, it was seized by Yao Clan. After the Battle of Dream Realm, Wu Yong had brought out clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building and displayed his powerful strength, awing the experts of southern border's righteous path. Moreover, after he had successfully negotiated and got back the lost immortal GU from Heavenly Court, he had returned them to their respective righteous path clans. As a result, Wu Yong's prestige had risen greatly, and although Wu clan had suffered severe losses, this swept away their declining state and stabilized their throne at number 1 in southern border. A stick in one hand and a carrot in the other, Wu Yong benefited in every way. He successfully retrieved the lost territories, making many righteous forces retreat without much fight. Now, in Wu clan, many were comparing Wu Yong to Wu Dushu. Wu clan's morale soared, and they believed Wu Yong would definitely sustain Wu clan's glory. Wu Zhen, this corpse Emperor Yu Dingtian is a strategic place. Among all the clansmen, I can only be at ease handing this to you. Wu Yong said without looking back. Yes, I will not disappoint First Supreme Elder. Wu Zhen's tone was slightly trembling. Lord, he paused before continuing, Corpse Emperor Yu Dingtian is our final lost territory, do we counterattack now? Wu Yong frowned, he had all along been scheming about counterattacking. But after the news of Heavenly Court capturing Spectral Soul, Wu Yong decided to give up this plan. This time, Wu clan lost many GU immortals. Since we have already recovered all the lost territories, our manpower, which was already barely able to control our vast territories before, has an even bigger issue now. It is time to recuperate and cultivate the next generation of clansmen to become GU immortals. Yes, I shall follow First Supreme Elder's decision. Wu Zhen said respectfully. The current Wu Yong's prestige was extremely high, his decision was supported by all the Wu clan GU immortals. However, we cannot settle the matter of infringing on our Wu clan so easily. Although we won't expand our territories, we will get resources as compensation. Wu Yong continued, his voice containing a trace of battle intent. Wu Zhen's spirits immediately rose. First Supreme Elder is wise. Western Desert, Tang clan's headquarters. Heavenly Court's might really is frightening. Tang clan's second Supreme Elder was worried. Tang clan's first Supreme Elder indifferently glanced at him, well aware of why the other had come. Previously, when they discussed collaboration with Fang Yuan's group, the second Supreme Elder was opposed to it. Now that the news of Heavenly Court capturing Spectral Soul was publicized, Tang clan's GU immortals felt huge pressure. Will Heavenly Court hold us accountable for cooperating with Shadow Sect? Second Supreme Elder sighed. So what if they do? So what if they do not? First Supreme Elder smiled. Second Supreme Elder frowned and said while pacing around, if they don't blame us, it is naturally a matter of great joy, and we can continue to collaborate with Shadow Sect. But if they hold us accountable, our Tang clan is after all a super force of Western Desert, we can collaborate with other clans to resist Heavenly Court. Of course, we must strictly keep the secret and not let out any evidence. Otherwise, with justification on their side, Heavenly Court can interrogate us while our clan won't be able to seek reinforcements. Also, if that doesn't work, we can only sacrifice Tang Fangming and Tang Lanke for the clan. First Supreme Elder laughed. Haha, look, you already know how to deal with the situation, so what are you panicking for? First Supreme Elder restrained his laughter, and said in a serious tone, if Tang clan wants to rise, we must take such risks. Riches and fortune are found in danger. If we cannot grasp thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's dream realm, would we be worthy of this great opportunity? As for Tang Fangming and Tang Lanke, they are already aware. Sacrificing for the clan is the greatest honor. Second Supreme Elder sighed. First Supreme Elder is wise. Chapter 1439, Zhao Lianyun's Ascension. Ha ha ha, Elder Fang Yuan, you are back. Lang Yalan's spirit laughed heartily, walking towards Fang Yuan with open arms. Fang Yuan also laughed. I feel like I have returned home, my heart truly feels much more secure. The two strongly hugged each other, their attitude was extremely warm. Elder Fang Yuan, your name has shaken the whole world now, congratulations. Lang Yalan's spirit's gaze towards Fang Yuan was completely different from before. Fang Yuan now possessed rank 8 battle strength, this was his own battle strength, and was enough for Lang Yalan's spirit to pay heavy attention to him. Moreover, Fang Yuan had escaped from Heavenly Court's chase and safely returned to Lang Ya sect. This battle achievement would shake the world if it was publicized. From Lang Yalan's spirit's perspective, he was naturally willing to see Fang Yuan have a reconcilable hatred towards the number 1 human force, Heavenly Court. The more Fang Yuan was hunted down, the more happy he would be. Because he was a hairy man, and his obsession was to make hairy men the rulers of the world. Naturally, Lang Ya sect's safety was much more important. If he had not been convinced that Fang Yuan was clean, and had not left behind any clues for Heavenly Court to track down, Lang Yalan's spirit would not have been so welcoming. Elder Fang Yuan, what are your plans now? Lang Yalan's spirit asked while walking. Fang Yuan spoke bluntly without hesitation. The situation is quite dangerous now, I intend to rest and reorganize for some time. I have already inherited Spectral Soul's true inheritance and become the new leader of Shadow Sect. As long as I have enough time, I can increase my cultivation and strength continually. Heavenly Court is not able to investigate me anymore. Now that I think of it, it was truly dangerous. I was fortunate to have First Supreme Elder fully supporting me. Lang Yalan's spirit felt somewhat embarrassed, he could only laugh loudly. He naturally did not fully support Fang Yuan, and only helped Fang Yuan refine GU according to the sect rules he had set. If he did, he would have already sent Hairy Man GU Immortals to aid Fang Yuan. The two conversed while walking. Along the way, they saw many Hairy Man GU masters who bowed towards them respectfully. Lang Ya sect's development was also progressing rapidly. Ever since Lang Yalan's spirit changed the development strategy, promoting the Hairy Man War of the Three Continents, many outstanding Hairy Man GU masters had risen. These Hairy Man elites were selected and brought to live in Cloud Cover Continent to guide them in further cultivation. Murals of Lang Ya sect's supreme elders were in each cloud city of Cloud Cover Continent. And the cloud city belonging to Fang Yuan was much taller and had a giant statue of him. As such, these GU masters were familiar with all GU Immortal elders. After discussing for a while, Fang Yuan bade farewell to Lang Yalan's spirit. The two had conversed cheerily. Lang Yalan's spirit was of course extremely interested in Spectral Soul's true inheritance, while Fang Yuan wanted to use Lang Ya sect's power to help him refine Immortal GU. Fang Yuan had some ability in refinement path, but against Lang Ya sect, he paled in comparison. Both sides set up many agreements. Lang Yalan's spirit left in satisfaction. Fang Yuan walked to a GU refinement hall and saw Sixth Hair. So it was Second Supreme Elder, sorry for not receiving you. Sixth Hair smiled. He looked withered and haggard, and in a miserable state. When he saw Fang Yuan, complicated expressions were shown through his eyes. There was joy, surges of emotions, loneliness, and sighs. Events in life were mystical things. Before, Sixth Hair had been wishing for Fang Yuan's death. Now, Fang Yuan had become the leader of Shadow Sect, and was also the only hope in rescuing Spectral Soul's main body. Since Fang Yuan protected Ying Wuxia's life and had irreconcilable enmity with Heavenly Court, Sixth Hair also chose to acknowledge Fang Yuan's position. Sixth Hair pays respect to Lord Sect Leader, please forgive me for not being able to pay full respects. Sixth Hair transmitted his voice. This was Lang Ya blessed land. Lang Ya land's spirit could observe everything clearly. It is just superficial etiquette, how could I mind these things? Fang Yuan transmitted his voice. I still need to thank you for your effort in helping me by refining Immortal GU. Heavenly Court is my sworn enemy. There will be a day when I will invade Heavenly Court and use all my strength to rescue Spectral Soul's main body. Sixth Hair nodded, a radiant splendor flashing past his eyes as he turned around to lead the way. Please, this way. Actually, he was aware Fang Yuan's words did not have any assurance. If Fang Yuan wanted to break his word, he would suffer no punishment nor pay any price. But for a human to live, they needed hope. Even if this hope was minuscule. Moreover, Sixth Hair was aware that if Fang Yuan had not been recruited, just based on the remaining Shadow Sect GU Immortals, they simply would not be Heavenly Court's match and would soon be wiped out. Heavenly Court would not even need to make a move. Fang Yuan might be the first to move against Shadow Sect's remnant forces to gain benefits. Purple Mountain True Monarch had already predicted the future situation, and so to preserve the remaining Shadow Sect forces and to sustain hope, he handed the whole of Shadow Sect to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan knew Purple Mountain True Monarch's intention, but he accepted it and was quite happy in doing so. Fang Yuan followed Sixth Hair and walked some distance before arriving in front of a refinement path Immortal formation. There, flames were raging, but they were radiating extremely cold air. The extreme coldness soon covered Fang Yuan's brows and the tips of his hair with a layer of frost. Lord Sect Leader, Cleanse Soul Immortal Gu's refinement has already reached its crucial stage. But I have failed several times in this step. My luck is inferior to yours, Sect Leader, you are more suitable to complete these final few steps. Sixth Hair transmitted his voice. He then started to explain the steps of GU refinement in detail, as well as many key points among them, his own experiences and insights. Fang Yuan listened attentively, not missing even a single word. Cleanse Soul Immortal GU was the crucial key to his next cultivation plan. Almost at the same time, far away in Central Continent's Spirit Affinity House, a peak rank 5 female GU master was faced with an important moment of her life. At this moment, she wore combat armor, she had clear white skin and her eyes shone like stars, her arched eyebrows were slightly furrowed right now as she concentrated. "You can begin." Spirit Affinity House's Wisdom Path GU Immortal Shu Hao spoke. At his side was a female immortal, she was Shu Hao's wife, Li Junying. Zhao Lianyun nodded and took a deep breath as she started her immortal ascension. In her rank 5 peak stage aperture, primeval essence surged like fierce waves and struck at the surrounding aperture walls. Soon, cracks began to appear on the aperture walls. Following the increase in cracks, a formless heavenly power began to slowly lift Zhao Lianyun's body. When she was raised over 10 feet from the ground, Zhao Lianyun stopped. Currently, Zhao Lianyun's eyes were closed, her whole concentration was on controlling the primeval essence in her aperture to fiercely smash at the aperture walls. She was unaware that as the cracks on her aperture walls increased, the aura she revealed was becoming more dense and had already attracted 2 enormous waves of qi. Heaven qi surged, dark clouds rolled in the sky, and thunder started booming. Vast earth qi caused ground to shake and dust to rise. Heaven qi and earth qi were increasing in intensity. Suddenly, a crisp sound echoed as Zhao Lianyun's aperture completely fragmented. Immediately, an extremely dense human qi flowed out of her body. Heaven qi, earth qi and human qi began to mutually attract each other and soon gathered together, forming a giant qi sphere that covered Zhao Lianyun. "You must persevere," Li Junying mumbled. Helping Zhao Lianyun ascend to GU Immortal was not just a task from Spirit Affinity House, even more, it concerned her and her husband Shu Hao's benefits in the sect. Shu Hao and Li Junying belonged to the anti-Feng faction which was unable to get along with Feng Juji's faction. And Zhao Lianyun was the most crucial person in the anti-Feng faction. Shu Hao was solemn and cautious. Zhao Lianyun's ascension was different from others. Because she had divine concealment, she could not be deduced and calamities and tribulations could not descend upon her. Such an immortal ascension was unprecedented in history. Even thieving heaven demon Venerable had only created the first version of divine concealment after becoming a GU immortal. As such, Shu Hao was extremely careful, paying full attention to Zhao Lianyun's condition, he would immediately help if there was anything wrong. However, at this moment, despite Shu Hao having an intense desire to help, he was unable to do so. 3 qi gathered, Zhao Lianyun had to personally control its fusion process, outsiders could not interfere. Before she underwent immortal ascension, Zhao Lianyun had done large amounts of preparation and practice. With GU Immortals training and instructing her, she was extremely familiar with the whole process of immortal ascension. The qi sphere formed by the 3 qi became increasingly smaller. This was a good change. It showed Zhao Lianyun was successfully condensing the 3 qi. After a while, the 3 had shrunken to an extreme degree. Zhao Lianyun opened her eyes and gave a cry as she sent her vital GU into the center of the 3 qi. Rumble. A huge sound resounded, like the booming of thunder. For an instant, Zhao Lianyun was completely dazed, her gaze going blank. But she came to her senses the very next moment, quickly looking at her aperture. There was no longer an aperture, replacing it was an immortal aperture. Rank 6 Immortal Aperture. I have succeeded. Zhao Lianyun wept from extreme joy. Chapter 1440. Great Dream Immortal Venerable Feng Jin Huang. Northern Plains, Langya Blessed Land, GU Refinement Hall. The Refinement Path GU formation slowly operated, the eerie blue cold fire had already turned into an iceberg. Fang Yuan stood at the edge of the Refinement Path Immortal formation and raised his hands, closely pressing his palms onto the iceberg. His eyes shone brightly as he put almost all his concentration into the GU refinement. All kinds of GU worm auras fluctuated in his body, there were auras of mortal GU as well as immortal GU. He was using large amounts of refinement path methods as well as killer moves. Under Fang Yuan's effort, the blue cold fire was still quietly burning inside the iceberg. GU materials were constantly refined by the fire, their impurities were removed, leaving behind only the purest essence. An immortal GU embryo was beginning to form little by little. Sixth Hair, who was standing at the side, was observing with a joyful look. This progress had already surpassed his previous records. This was naturally not because Fang Yuan's refinement path attainment was higher than Sixth Hair, but because of luck. And an even more important reason was the refinement path method. To think that our sect had an inheritance of a refinement path great expert of the remote antiquity era, Bei Luo. Sixth Hair inwardly sighed. Bei Luo was a renowned historical figure, he was a rank 8 refinement path GU Immortal, and he was most specialized in the ice refinement method. Even until now, his ice refinement specialization was at a level where later generations could only look up to. Right now, Fang Yuan was using Bei Luo's ice refinement killer move. Thus, he could easily surpass Sixth Hair's previous progress, and was only a step away from successfully refining Cleanse Soul Immortal GU. Even though Sixth Hair was a split soul and a member of Shadow Sect. Back then, Shadow Sect had used soul replacement to place him in Langya Blessed Land and had not given him a lot of memories regarding cultivation. Because once these memories exceeded a limit, it could easily reveal some flaws when cultivating. And in Langya Blessed Land, Langya Land Spirit was almost all-knowing, able to observe every small change in any part of the Blessed Land. Now that Fang Yuan had become Shadow Sect's leader and obtained all the inheritances of Shadow Sect, his GU cultivation foundation had risen explosively. This increase could be said to be earth-shaking. Even Fang Yuan himself felt a little dazed by it. If Fang Yuan's foundation was like a lake earlier, after getting Shadow Sect's inheritances, it was like an ocean now. Even Langya Sect's foundation was below Shadow Sect's. Langya Sect was established extremely long ago, but it was only created by the rank 8 GU Immortal Long-Hair ancestor, while Shadow Sect's founder was Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, who had massacred countless beings over the world. So, when Fang Yuan understood the GU refinement steps of Cleanse Soul Immortal GU, he selected the most suitable refinement method from the large amounts of inheritances in his mind, Bei Luo Ice Refinement Method. Good. The Immortal GU embryo has already mostly formed, success is very close. As time passed, Sixth Hair became increasingly excited. His gaze moved to Fang Yuan once again. This man, Sixth Hair's eyes flickered with a complex gaze. He has a solid foundation in refinement path, and also ample talent in it. More importantly, the ice refinement method seems to suit him greatly. Sixth Hair thought to himself. There were thousands upon thousands of refinement path methods, fire refinement, ice refinement, group refinement, time refinement, and so on. Some people were suited for fire refinement methods, while some were innately suited for water refinement methods. Fang Yuan also discovered that the ice refinement method suited him very well. Looks like I should practice ice refinement method in my spare time. It seems to suit my personality even more than blood refinement. While thinking, Fang Yuan mobilized his GU worms, preparing for an immortal killer move. There was already a huge number of myriad self-clones in his immortal aperture. While he was refining GU, these clones were helping him set up the killer move. When this immortal killer move was activated, Fang Yuan immediately felt warmth spreading throughout his whole body, resisting the bone-chilling coldness coming from the outside. The intense coldness continually spread from the iceberg. This was a disadvantage of the ice refinement method. GU immortals had to refine GU while resisting the coldness. If Myriad Self had not been upgraded, it would be quite difficult for Fang Yuan to deal with many aspects. But with the new Myriad Self, he was able to easily pass this difficulty. Just as Fang Yuan was continuing to refine GU, far away in central continent, Feng Jinhuang had climbed to a mountain peak. It was dawn and there was still some darkness in the sky with a few scattered stars. Feng Jinhuang breathed out as she gazed far away, but her face was filled with worry. Being raised under the protection of GU immortal parents, the previous her did not know the taste of sorrow. Now, however, she had tasted setbacks and experienced the difficulties of life. Especially in recent times, as Zhao Lianyun succeeded in her immortal ascension. This greatly increased the anti-Feng faction's reputation in Spirit Affinity House, and with Feng Zhuzhe far away in Western Desert, Fairy Bai Qing was unable to deal with this alone, allowing Shu Hao's group to gain a lot of support. From these events, Feng Jinhuang experienced difficulties and bitterness which she had not felt before. In her eyes, the sect had completely transformed. Sigh, she sat down on a rock and sighed. She started thinking of Zhao Lianyun. This girl came from behind and robbed Feng Jinhuang of her goal, the position of Spirit Affinity House's fairy. Now, she had succeeded in her immortal ascension, and was now different from mortals. The scene of Zhao Lianyun begging her was still clear in her mind. Zhao Lianyun is an otherworldly demon, Feng Yuan is also an otherworldly demon. Why am I always losing to otherworldly demons? Feng Jinhuang's thoughts were wandering, that unforgettable scene emerging from the depths of her mind. It was at the peak of Danghun Mountain, when she first saw Feng Yuan. Feng Jinhuang's face immediately flushed, she quickly shook her head and suppressed these scenes and memories. What use is there in thinking about this? Feng Jinhuang, you need to keep on working harder. You need to put in more effort, become a GU immortal, and help father and mother. Feng Jinhuang collected her thoughts and began to summarize her most recent dream realm experience. That was the dream realm of the refinement path great expert Bei Luo. After passing this dream realm, my refinement path has already broken through to great grandmaster. Senior Bei Luo was most proficient in ice refinement, let's give it a try. Feng Jinhuang spread her arms, her 10 fingers twitched rhythmically and quickly, creating multiple layers of blurred images. A gust of cold air immediately swirled around her hand, becoming more vigorous. Feng Jinhuang was a refinement path great grandmaster, with such an outstanding attainment level, a GU worm soon appeared out of the cold air. This was an ice path rank 3 mortal GU, it flew to Feng Jinhuang's shoulder and sat there motionlessly. Following it, a second and third GU worm flew out. Moreover, their ranks were gradually climbing from rank 3 to rank 4 and 5. Feng Jinhuang's expression revealed joy, her eyes were gradually brightening and her finger movements became even faster. But at the next moment, the cold air suddenly exploded, the GU refinement failed and Feng Jinhuang suffered a backlash. Damn it! Feng Jinhuang's heart sank and her face paled. She subconsciously closed her eyes and gritted her teeth to endure the incoming pain. But nothing happened. What's going on? Feng Jinhuang slowly opened her eyes. She saw a tall man in front of her with one hand stretched before her eyes. That cold air which had exploded was now actually condensed into an ice sphere in his hand. The man was truly tall, Feng Jinhuang's head only reached above his knees. His long hair fluttered in the wind, his posture was grand and powerful, his gaze contained wisdom and the vicissitudes of life. What attracted Feng Jinhuang's attention was the pair of coral-like dragon horns on his forehead. Senior, you are. Thank you for saving me. Feng Jinhuang quickly bowed. The tall man smiled. There are countless refinement path methods, ice refinement, however, does not suit you, Feng Jinhuang. Your nature is active and bright, so you are more suited for metal refinement and fire refinement. As for ice refinement, those who are proficient in it usually have a patient and persistent nature. The tall man then lightly clenched his fist, destroying the ice sphere in his palm. Feng Jinhuang clicked her tongue in surprise, she was deeply aware of the might of this cold air, it was enough to severely injure an ordinary rank 5 GU master. Her eyes suddenly brightened. Senior, you are a GU immortal. You know my parents. Feng Jinhuang had come in contact with many GU immortals, so she did not feel uncomfortable. Normally speaking, those GU immortals were quite pleasant to her, mostly because they admired Feng Juji's great reputation. Sure enough, the tall man nodded his head. I know your parents, but right now, I came specially for you. For me, Feng Jinhuang was surprised. Indeed, the tall man continued. Oh Feng Jinhuang, in the future you will become great dream immortal venerable, you are destined to join heavenly court and lead this era, stunning the world and standing proudly at the peak of GU immortals. I am heavenly court's GU immortal Duke Long, I came here to take you in as my disciple, to lead you to the grand throne of a rank 9 venerable. What? Feng Jinhuang's mouth opened wide as she looked at the tall man in a daze. Duke Long smiled at Feng Jinhuang, his expression was peaceful and amiable. Feng Jinhuang, however, had a look of, I think this guy is a scammer, towards this legendary character who had defeated Spectral Soul. She did not recognize Duke Long. Duke Long's appearance was familiar to the GU immortals of the 10 great ancient sects, but Feng Jinhuang was immortal and had no access to this knowledge. Immortals and mortals were in 2 different worlds. Uncle, do you know that since ancient times, there were only 10 people who became GU venerables? I know the prophecy regarding Great Dream Immortal Venerable, but how can I possibly be that Great Dream Immortal Venerable? Feng Jinhuang asked. Don't doubt yourself. Duke Long smiled. You are the future Great Dream Immortal Venerable. When you were young, a Dream Path Immortal GU chose you, this was the sign. Your life should have been smooth sailing with dazzling achievements. Regretfully, some obstacles appeared. Those otherworldly demons who are not bound by fate, they stole your fortuitous encounters. Like who immortal blessed land, and also the position of the current generation fairy of Spirit Affinity House. But none of these are important. Fate Immortal GU will be completely restored in 10 years. You will definitely become Great Dream Immortal Venerable, because this is all predestined by fate. Duke Long's expression was serious as he said this, his gaze was extremely firm like he was telling an absolute truth. Nothing in this world could shake or change this truth. Feng Jinhuang was also affected by his words, she was stumped for a moment, unable to say anything.